right, folks, here we go. Another another slow Sunday, but I'm catching up here. This is pretty much a pointless game. Um, we got to come out here and lose, and I hate to come out here and root for the Giants to lose. It's the worst, but we just got one last mission to complete. Now, Theo Johnson is fake sick. We got a couple other people who were fake six, and I see Jackson Dart. Ball just got tipped here on first down. But essentially, we're tanking without tanking. And that's how the NFL does it. So here we go. 2nd and 10. Jackson Dart puts Gunnar Olszewski in motion, hands it off to Tracy, who cuts it back, and he's going to lose a yard. But yeah, essentially, like I said, we're tanking without tanking. We got some people out. I don't have the official list, and my stream just went out, but I don't have the official list in front of me for everybody that's out. But I know Theo Johnson was ruled out. Wanda Robinson got put on IR. So it's very obvious what we're doing. Very obvious what we're doing here. Theo Johnson out, Wandale out. Okay, so those other people were able to get back. Abdul Carter came back, but Theo Johnson and Wandale Robinson are out. So 4th and 11 here. The Giants will punt. I missed the majority of this drive. Yeah, why are we watching? Why are we? That's the funny thing. I was like, we got to make sure we secure the loss. That's essentially why we're watching. And the Giants did the worst job. Art Green literally was waiting for the ball at the one on this punt and threw it back with just the, oh my gosh. So yeah, they just fielded that punt horribly. So they're already off to a good start. 3 and out, or they just ended up punting. And then, I can't even describe that. So, of course, they punted it. They were waiting for the ball at the 1 yard line. They downed them at the 1. And then Art Green is waiting there and catches it and is falling into the end zone, throws it backwards to try to keep it in play. And the ball just bounces back and rolls into the end zone. You said Wandale makes sense? Yeah. The Theo Johnson thing makes it seem like we're tanking because he's out with illness, but he was at the next game. And he said out of his own, his own mouth that he's there and he's not ill. So we don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what type of illness he actually has, but he's saying that he doesn't have it. He's not sick. So yeah, hopefully we can secure the loss, but I don't think that would be a big issue. I think you were talking about that punt play. Completely agree with you right there. Completely agree with you right there. What's going on, Carmelo? Appreciate the support all season long. Unlimited, everybody else that's been here the majority of the season. Appreciate the support because the team has been an absolute dumpster fire. Like, we've been a big joke. And like there's this narrative, and Bobby Skinner tweeted this a couple of days ago. There's this narrative that fans love. Oh, so they did place the ball at the one. But there's this narrative that fans show up and watch videos more when the team is bad rather than it being good. But okay, so they're saying the Art Green play is dead at the one. But essentially, there's this narrative that fans like the misery of the Giants more and that gets more views, but that's definitely not true. And Dak Prescott hits George Pickens immediately for a first down. Dak Prescott is 37-9 against the NFC East. And basically 500 against the rest of the league. Wow. So here we go. Handoff here from Dak Prescott to Hunter Lipke, fullback. So the Cowboys are gearing up to beat us with their fullback at running back. This is crazy. That's crazy. And they're saying they're saying Hunter Lipke was his favorite fullback growing up was Mike Allstott, and Moose Johnson is losing it. The commentator. So there we go. End around to Kevontae Turpin. He gets about 7 yards there. But essentially, like I said, we're just here to secure the loss. I expect Dallas to put up a lot of points today. They put up 30 last week, I think. But I expect them to put up a good amount of points. And hopefully we don't get anything crazy going on from offense. Hopefully it's a good game and we lose. Because at this point, we need to lock up that number 2 pick. So Dak Prescott on the move, hitting, it looks CeeDee Lamb for a first down. So no resistance so far from the Giants defense. No surprise there. And I think Cordell Flott may be on IR. I can't remember. But I know he wasn't playing last week. Adebo's out there. Yeah, it looks like Adebo and Deontay Banks. So this is a huge game for Deontay Banks. After that kick return for a touchdown, if he can give some good reps, and Dak Prescott fumbled the football, and the Giants have it. Of course, the Cowboys are going to find a way to make this interesting. So Dak Prescott fumbled the snap. Bobby Okereke, once again, is about to change the game. Oh, boy. So, yeah, the center literally, this is a butt fumble part 2. It looked like the center's butt knocked the ball out of Dak. Oh no, Dak just dropped the snap. He just dropped the snap, and now, wow. Yeah, he just slipped and dropped the snap, and now it'll be Giants football. So here we go, Jackson Dart back in the gun. Jackson Dart in motion. Jackson Dart is throwing it away. Meanwhile, Darius Slayton is getting up off the ground. So I don't know if he tripped or he was interfered with, but there's a flag down. And they're saying it's on the offense. So bad start to this drive by the Giants offense already. And let's see if the ref will give us the call here. An eligible man downfield. Penalties declined by the Cowboys, so second down coming up. And that was Jermaine Illuminor downfield. So after this next play, I'm going to give you all some of the scenarios. Shout out to Doug Analytics on Twitter. Always keeping us up to date on the pass to tanking. Pitch play to Tracy. Tracy cannot get to the edge. He's going to get about 2 yards there on the toss. So here we go. So if the New York Giants lose and Las Vegas wins, and at least 2 of the following occur. So Seattle beating San Francisco, which happened, I'm pretty sure. Cleveland beating Cincinnati, ATL beating New Orleans, or Chicago beating Detroit. So we need either Cleveland, ATL, or Chicago to win today, and Las Vegas to win, and we get the number 1 pick. And here we go. Jackson Dart dropping back, letting it fly, and Hodgins almost made a great catch, but of course couldn't come down with it. 4th down coming down for the Giants, and I'm sure they'll take a field goal, which I'm pretty happy about because I want to continue to evaluate Ben Stalls as a kicker. And I'm not trying to win today, man. Like, I hate to do it, but it just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense here. So Ben Sauls will come out wearing number 30 as a kicker is hilarious to me. So Ben Sauls coming out is so far 4 for 4, hasn't missed any extra points, left-footed kicker, kicking from the left hash, 45-yard attempt, and it is right down the middle. Ben Sauls continues to stay perfect as a Giant. He's got to get a long look from the GM, from the coaches, as possibly our next kicker. Now, we haven't seen the 50-plus yarders, haven't seen anything like that from him, but so far he's been money. He hasn't missed anything, which is very good compared to what we've had all year. And you got to think if he would have been here all year, we probably have a couple more wins. So yeah, Seattle already beat San Francisco. So if we lose today and Las Vegas wins and they're playing against the Chiefs, and then we get either Cleveland to win, Atlanta to win, or Chicago to win, we get the number 1 pick. Now, if we win, we would need, we would need Cleveland to lose. Basically, out of these teams, Cleveland, Tennessee, Arizona, New York Jets, and Washington, we would need basically all these teams to lose to keep that number 2 pick. If all these teams win, and that's what I meant to say, we would need all these teams to win. If all these teams win, we get the number 2 pick. If all these teams lose, we get the number 7 pick. So it basically depends on however many wins that happens between Cleveland, Tennessee, Arizona, Jets, and the Commanders is where we'll end up picking if we win today. So if we win, we could go from the number 2 pick to the number 7 pick, which is not where I want to be, because we could lose out on guys like Caleb Downs. We could lose out on a lot of, in my opinion, valuable pieces just from a picking perspective. And then, of course, we're definitely not getting a haul to get a guy like Dante Moore from pick 7, because he's going to go probably pick 2. Giants are not beating the Cow. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't say I'm worried about us losing to the Cowboys. I mean, about us beating the Cowboys. That offense is just too good, but, stranger things have happened. And shout out to Stranger Things. I saw that movie, and I saw that finale in theaters, and that was actually a good finale to me. I've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff on Twitter about just people really disappointed, but I like the finale. Like, people were like literally in the audience, like clapping at the end of the movie, and then I get on Twitter and like everybody hates it, which is crazy to me. So here we go. Jamie Gillen kicking off, and it's not Ben Saul. So they continue to switch between Gillen and the kicker on these kickoffs. So Dak coming back out after the fumble from him, giving up a field goal, and we'll see what Dak Prescott can do. Riley Leonard is filling in for Phillip Rivers, who's filling in for Daniel Jones, who took what's the guy's name? Who took Anthony Richardson's job. Riley Leonard just came in, threw a 66-yard touchdown to Alec Pierce. So here we go. Dak Prescott back under center. He's handing off to, can't tell who that is, but he gets 3 yards there. Dak so far is 2 for 2 for 13 yards. He got 2 quick passes for first downs, or almost first downs. And the Cowboys have run the ball decently so far. So here we go, 2nd and 6 coming up. Dak Prescott in the gun, firing it over the middle to the tight end. And that should be a first down, or at least 3rd and inches, and they'll give him the first down. So here we go. Let me check, because all those scenarios I mentioned, I want to take a look at what else is going on. So the Browns are already down 6-0 on the Bengals. Not good for us. Titans are up 7-0 against the Jaguars, so that's pretty good. Let's see. I'm looking for the Raiders and Chiefs. That's not going to happen until later on, so that'll be a huge game. Play action. Dak Prescott dumping it off to the tight end again, who's going to get another first down. Easy money. Dart don't even look good against the Cowboys defense. I think, to be honest, man, I just don't expect to see much today from the offense because it looks like the Giants are quasi shutting it down. You take away his number one receiver at this point, he's got Hodgins and Slayton, and Slayton has just completely taken a step back. You don't have Theo Johnson, who gives you, some sort of a threat of making a big play at tight end, so you basically got Daniel Bellinger as your only reliable target. And a nice run here from the Cowboys running back who made a guy miss in a hole, picked up 10, and that is Alfred Blue, I think. Jaden Blue, not Alfred Blue. Jaden Blue. And who's Alfred Blue? I got to look him up because I feel like there was also a running back named Alfred Blue. Yeah, okay. Except he's 34. Dart is average. I mean, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I will say that Dart looked really good under Dable. And, Jaden Blue is starting to carve up this Giants defense, and he's down inside the 5-yard line. But, again, I'm not going to just say like, oh, let's abandon ship for Jackson Dart. The guy has like 23 touchdowns total, something like that, and 5 interceptions. So I'm not ready to say, oh, he stinks and he's not going to be the guy. I mean, he's had a good season. So I'm not ready to give up there, but I would like to see him play better going forward, but he's also going to get, Malik Neighbors back next year. It'll either be Wando Robinson or a guy like Carnell Tate next year. He's going to have Scatterboo back there with him. And he's going to have, hopefully, a new coach that is a good coach that can put him in good situations. Because one thing about Dable is that while he was here, Jackson Dart was moving up and down the field every week. And it seems like that may be a little bit more on, Brian Dable and Mike Kafka. Because since he's been here with Kafka, things have been different. So I want to see him with the new coach, but all of the making declarations on a guy, even if he had like an MVP caliber year this year, making a declaration on a guy after, a season, and he hasn't even played a full season and won't until he plays like 5 games next year, I think is a little bit too premature. Tackling is just a suggestion for the Giants. The Vikings are ridiculous. Brian Flores he's undefeated pretty much against rookie quarterbacks. They don't do well against him. And the same thing against the Patriots. You got 2 veteran defensive coordinators. He also went against the number 1 defense in football at the time against the Broncos and tore them apart. So, I mean, you can use a lot of different things to try to say somebody's good or not good. But like I said, you want to at least give the guy a couple seasons. Like with Daniel Jones, I was his biggest supporter until after season 2. And about halfway through season 3 is when I started being hypercritical of saying, okay, you got to show me something else. And I think that's fair. With a rookie quarterback, with a young quarterback, you got to give him time. Even if he looks horrible, which he hasn't at any point looked horrible, I guess, besides the Vikings game. But also, if you look at that Vikings game, he only threw the ball twice the entire first half because Mike Kafka was so scared of Brian Flores that he didn't even dial anything up throwing the ball the entire first half. So that is one reason why he had such a bad statistical game that week. But besides that, man, like, let the guy get some time. Because who are you going to replace him with? Fernando Mendoza? I mean, come on now. Jones 2.0. I'm not going down that. Well, if he turns out to be DJ 2.0, that'll happen. But I'm not going down that road. I don't see similar characteristics in their games at all. But you're good to form your own opinion from what you've seen so far. So out of the break, the challenge will stand, or the call will stand that Mike Kafka just challenged. So here we go. They're trying to say that it was a fumble, but no way that was a fumble. That wasn't a fumble at all. So here we go. Dallas inside the 5. And can he even challenge that? I don't even think you can challenge. I don't even think you can challenge that. I don't think you can challenge a play that happened before another play. But it seems like they did. So 3rd and goal coming up for the Cowboys. They're trying to see if they can get in the end zone, go up instead of kicking a field goal to tie it. They got 3 wide receivers. Dak Prescott in the gun. George Pickens is isolated on the Debo. You know he's going toward Pickens one-on-one, and a Debo with decent coverage. Dak just throws it out of the back corner of the end zone, and they will probably take a field goal here. So Debo in pretty good position against Pickens. I mean, he kept position the entire time. So that looked like Pickens had the chance to either, depending on the leverage of the corner, it looked like Pickens was either going to run the fade or the slant. Adebo cheated inside, made him run that fade, and had pretty good defense there. Now we got Aubrey putting it right through and tie game. Cowboys 3, Giants 3. So tie game. Meanwhile, the games that we need to go a certain way, the Titans just gave up a score. So we need the Titans to win today if we want to, secure the number 1 pick, because there's a lot of tiebreakers that are there. So we need the Titans to win, or the Commanders to win, and also, of course, the Raiders to win. And who else do we need to win? We need the Browns to win. Because that's strange, because why would we need the Browns to win when they are already at 4 wins and we're at 3 wins? I guess I'm not sure. I guess that affects like somebody else's tiebreaker, because we wouldn't be competing with the Browns for a pick because they're already at 4 wins. So the Browns are down by 6. The Titans are tied up at 7 with the Jags. And then as far as the other games, the Seahawks already took care of business. They won against the Niners. So that helped us out. And the other games will happen later on today. So, yeah, I mean, I hate to be in this situation again where we're rooting for a loss, but I just think it makes the most sense. So, I mean, this will be a very, very disappointing situation if for some reason the Giants came out and won this meaningless game, and especially in a boring way. Like, if you come out and win the game, it better be exciting. But I could very much see that happening. I could just see them coming out here and winning like a 12-6 game against the Cowboys, something ridiculous like that. So coming out of commercial break here. Showing the Statue of Liberty. Here we go. Giants should get the ball back soon. So far, we got, I think Jackson Dart is what? 2 for 6 for 9 yards. Tracy is 3 for 4 yards. So not much going on for the Giants offense so far. Deontay Banks bringing it out of the end zone. He's across the 35 and he's down at the 39. Banks continues to look great on kick return. So here we go. Jackson Dart in the huddle. Like I said, he's got Hodgins and Slayton in the huddle with him. Bunch formation. Under center. Bellinger goes to fullback. It looks like that Singletary in the backfield. And of course, Kafka, as usual, is handing the ball off here. 4-yard gain here. Or 3-yard gain, one of the two. But it looked like 4 from Singletary. So 2nd and 6 coming up. Let's see, next play. Looks like Jackson Dart is in the gun again. 3 wide receivers. Hits Darius Slayton here, who turns in a complete circle and picks up a first down. Could have just turned left and went straight upfield, but turned right, went backwards, and then got upfield. Titans trying to play spoiler to the Jags. Trying to mess up that 1 seed for them. But it's going to be difficult to expect the Titans to win today. But they are tied up 7-7 with the Jags. All right, Dart back in the gun. 4 wide. Dart with time. Dart taking a shot. He's got Gunner wide open coming across the field. And the Dallas defense is starting to show their ugly face. So 28-yard gain there from the Giants and Jackson Dart. Nice concept there on the right side of the field. And Gunnar Olszewski was wide open on the out route. So first chunk play there from the Giants. They are in Cowboys territory. 3:43 left in the first quarter. Inside the 35 or inside the 25. Back under center and handing it off. Actually play action. Dart taking off. Dart with the blocker. He's got Singletary and Dart's going to go out of bounds smartly after picking up the first down. So it's looking like the Giants are going to score here. The Cowboys defense is starting to show their head. I mean, they're horrible. And it looks like they're about to start falling apart. Unfortunately for us. So Jackson Dart back under center. Gunnar Olszewski and Bellinger lined up at receiver. I think that is Isaiah Hodgins maybe lined up at tight receiver, or that's Slayton lined up at tight receiver. Handoff to Singletary, who is getting hit in the backfield, and he is going nowhere. We're going to lose a yard there. And Quentin Williams is the guy that made that tackle. I forgot Quentin Williams was even on the Cowboys. Quentin Williams working against Marcus Bowe and wins that matchup as expected. So here we go, back in the gun. Gunnar Olszewski in motion once again across the formation from the right to the left. And the slot, Dart finds Slayton wide open and misses him. Just couldn't float it enough there. But Slay was wide open. Slay on the fade route pushes off, and the ball is just a little bit too far there. Couldn't tell if that was a miscommunication for where he thought that Slayton was running, but nonetheless they couldn't connect there. And it's looking like these receivers are getting singled up all across the field here in the red zone. And the Cowboys defense is bailing out now, showing a cover 2 look. And they're still in cover 2. Jackson Dart trying to escape. Jackson Dart still trying to escape, and he's going to take the sack. And J.D. Clowney is the guy that brings them down, and the Giants will settle for another field goal. So there you go. Missed throw from Jackson Dart on second down, and third down, Dart trying to make something happen. Ends up taking the sack and keeps the Giants on schedule, because I really feel like the way that this Cowboys defense is playing, if we put up 7 here, it may not be good. It may not be good for us losing the game. So, good job. Ben Sauls puts it right through the middle again. Great job. I'm just so happy that we got this guy, Ben Sauls. We could have used him a lot earlier in the season. We wouldn't be in this discussion of like, do we want the first pick? We're really getting the Jackson Dart hate, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm before I start to say like, oh, he's not the guy, I try to give him a little bit of time. But you know, I can understand. But I would much rather be looking for a new quarterback the year after this upcoming year than this year. I'll tell you that. Because I'm not sold on Mendoza or Moore. Even if Jackson Dart can't ever develop as a passer and he's just the runner and, you know, an okay passer, he's better than Mendoza. He's better than Dante Moore. I'm not sold on either one of those guys as franchise quarterbacks, as like game changing. I think they can be good quarterbacks, but not game changers. So the Giants up 6-3. Jackson Dart is 4 for 9 for 43 yards. He's got 13 yards through the on the ground, and now it's Dak Prescott's chance to respond. Again, we need the Giants to lose here. I think that's New York, man. I think that's just the hype, man. I think it's the hype. It's like he's not as good as he's not as good as they're making him seem, but he's not as bad as they're making him seem at the same time. Like, he's not a generational rookie. But at the same time, he's had a good season. Again, 20 plus touchdowns, 5 interceptions is a very good stat line for a rookie. A lot of yards, a lot of rushing touchdowns. So I think he's doing a great job. So Mendoza, like I said, I think Mendoza is a nice quarterback that can work from the pocket. I'm concerned about the little bit of athleticism that he does have translating. And Myles Garrett, okay, he hasn't broken it yet. But I'm waiting for I completely forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about Mendoza. I'm concerned about his athleticism, being able to move around, and that translating. And I'm concerned on if he's going to be able to process well enough in the NFL consistently to overcome that. Because these college quarterbacks, it's one thing being able to do that in college, but doing that in the NFL. And Kevontae Turpin, up the field, Kevontae Turpin across the 50, across the 40, across the 30, across the 20, and Art Green, the hustler of the year, brings him down inside the 30-yard line. That's crazy. So, yeah, Mendoza, I'm concerned a little bit. Who does Mendoza remind me of? I kind of look at Mendoza and think like Kirk Cousins, but I don't think he's as talented like with his arm as Kirk. He's definitely got like a similar mentality. Not mentality, but similar like personality to Kirk Cousins. But also the way he plays the game, I would say Kirk Cousins. But not as, I would say he has pretty good arm talent. So yeah, Kirk Cousins I think is a good comp there. But again, he's not going to be doing a bunch of moving around. And I'd be curious to see what a rookie looks like doing that. A young quarterback coming into the league, because you look at the guys that are like pocket quarterbacks. Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins. And I would say Jared Goff is really the newest guy that's like a pocket passer. Maybe you say Shador, but again, proven good players that are, pocket guys. And it's like, CJ Stroud one from the pocket, but CJ Stroud can move a lot better than Mendoza. Here we go. Handoff from Dak and Blue right up the middle of the Giants defense. Jaden Blue runs for 6. So the Cowboys will go up 10-6 for now. If Dart doesn't show big improvement next year, he's a bust, and I'm not waiting. Listen, Dart should look. I don't think Dart has looked bad in any game but the Vikings game. Now, has he just not been as effective in some of these past games? Yeah, but I don't think he's looked bad. I think you give a quarterback. I always give a quarterback, like I said, 2.5 years. I think if you get through 2.5 years, and I think Parcells was like 38 games or something like that. That was like his rule. But yeah, if you get through 2.5 years and you're still thinking like, is he the guy? More than likely. Now we did have Eli, who let's see, 2004, 2005, 2006, and we still weren't completely sure. But more often than not, if you get through 2.5 years and you're still thinking like, is he the guy? Then he's probably not going to be the guy. But I'm not giving up after, a year and a half. That's way too soon for me. Especially when a guy's going to have to learn an entirely new offense next year because Mike Kafka's not staying here. Haven't seen enough of Mendoza to offer an opinion. Lots of tough decisions for Giants. I don't think Mendoza's on the table at all. I don't think he's on the table at all. I think it's a matter of if the Giants are going to be able to trade out of a pick to get a quarterback, or if they're just going to stay there and select somebody because they like him that much. But I don't think Mendoza's on the table for the Giants. I just don't see it. I could see a situation where, Arch Manning shocks the world and surprises everybody and says he's coming out because he's improved this season, looks better, has a lot of tools, is like pretty much has just as much athleticism as Jackson Dart, if not more, can make every throw, has a stronger arm. So I could see a situation where maybe they throw Jackson Dart out and say we're going to go and get Arch if they have the first pick and he's there. But I don't even see that because, again, anytime your rookie quarterback goes out and puts up 20-plus touchdowns, whether they're throwing or running, and 5 interceptions, I think at that point you're really thinking you have good building blocks to move forward with, especially when he's missing Malik Neighbors and, he doesn't necessarily have a dominant number 1 receiver. So here we go, 1st and 10 in the gun. 4 wide receivers. Jackson Dart checking it down to Tracy, who's going nowhere. Only took Drake May 1 year. Drake May looked very similar to Jackson Dart this past year. So next year, this upcoming year would be Drake May's, basically I understand what you're saying. You're saying if he doesn't look, Drake May is having an MVP caliber season, though. So I don't know if I'm going to say, like, if he doesn't look like Drake May his second season, that's kind of difficult because Josh McDaniels has taken guys like Mac Jones. He's taken guys like Drake May and made them look great. So it's difficult there. It's difficult there. But Drake May just probably is going to be a better quarterback than Jackson Dart, just in general. Like, Dart could possibly, be a guy for us, but at the same time, Drake May can do things that Jackson Dart physically can't do. I think receivers should be the first pick. If we trade out, the number 1 guy in this draft I'm looking at, no matter the position, is Caleb Downs. I would love to get Caleb Downs on the Giants. I would love for that to happen. So that's my number 1 thing that I want. Now, as far as receiver, Jordan Tyson is a guy that's probably my number 1 receiver, but he's always hurt. Tate is another guy that I would consider. And if we're trading, from 1 or 2 to 7 or 8 or something like that, I think there will be a mix of Caleb Downs, Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate. One of them will be there. Francis Mauigoa from Miami will be there, most likely. the right tackle out of Miami. And, do we let Marcus Bowe step in at right tackle? Do we let Jermaine Illuminor walk? Do we want to, let Marcus Bowe be our right tackle and Francis slide in at right guard? So there are some options there. I would love to get Tate. I would love to get Tyson. But again, he's got a bunch of injuries. And if not, I'm looking at Chris Brazil. Chris Brazil in the second round or maybe late first round as an option. A big body receiver. He's like 6'5", moves really well. I'm looking at him as well. And he's and I don't think it's pronounced Brazil. I think it's Brazil. But yeah, he's 6'5", receiver out of Tennessee, and I think he's got a lot of potential because he actually runs routes pretty well. Like, I know a lot of people are going to be thinking of Jalen Hyatt when they see receiver from Tennessee, but I think this guy runs routes better than Jalen Hyatt. He's bigger than him. Of course, not as fast, but 6'5", 200, got some room to grow. But I would be interested in him and end of the first round. But he may move up the board after he goes to the combine and everything. So here we go. Jackson Dart in the gun. 2nd and 11 after a dump off to Tracy that ended up being a 1-yard loss. Dallas showing a lot of motion at the line of scrimmage. They're bailing. Jackson Dart hits Darius Slayton, and Darius Slayton does what he does best and drops the ball. I mean, if I had a dollar for every time Slayton dropped the ball, oh, man. What's going on, Kenneth? We are... Dallas has been having a crazy season. They were looking like they were going to be a playoff team, and they just fell off. So here we go. Jackson Dart with time. Hitting Darius Slayton again, and Slayton is breaking the tackle, and he is looking like he picked up the first down. So finally, the Darius Slayton makes a catch and turns around and runs it up for a first down. So both of these defenses are continuing to show that they just cannot tackle to save their lives. So Jackson Dart now 5 for 11. 6 for 12, actually, 59 yards. And this is probably a perfect time for a run. Hand off to Tracy. Tracy's got space. Tracy's got a blocker. Tracy picks up a first down. Almost had a chance to spring that one. So here they go. Another 1st and 10. I know the Giants are going to start getting into the end zone because this Cowboys defense is this bad. I just don't want to end up winning this game in this situation. Handoff again to Tracy. Tracy dropping his shoulder. Turns a 1-yard gain into 3, maybe 4. And you got a 2nd and 7 coming up for the Giants. So 2nd and 7, 2 back-to-back runs from the Giants. Sloatman out there snapping the ball. Van Roten, Runyon, Marcus Bowe at left tackle. Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle. Hodgins in motion across the formation. Jackson Dart hits Daniel Bellinger, picks up another first down. So again, the Giants are moving right down the field. Ole Miss quarterback looks like Dart 2.0. Yeah, he did run around a lot like Jackson Dart. He did look a lot like him this weekend, or what was that, last week, before the weekend actually. So another 1st and 10. Jackson Dart is under center. They got Bellinger in an H-back. Fake pitch from Jackson Dart, who checks it down to a screen from Tyrone Tracy, who breaks a tackle, and the Giants pick up another first down. 4 plays, within the last, 5 plays, we've had like 4 first downs. So a nice fake pitch, screen play. Jackson Dart did a great job changing the arm angle, getting the ball to Tracy. And there's those little things like that on these screen passes where Dart can change the arm angle, change the launch point and still get these screens off. That really helps us out. So another Jackson Dart in a pistol, keeping it. He's taking off, reversing field, and he almost was able to escape and get that touchdown. But he's going to go down at the 3 or 4, and we'll have a 2nd and 2 coming up. Have to get to the 1 yard line for a first down. So here we go. 2nd and 2 coming up. Under center. Singletary behind Jackson Dart. Bellinger in at fullback or in at tight end. Singletary's getting hit for a loss of 2.5, 3 yards. The Cowboys defensive line completely blew up that entire run play. And they wanted to put Chris Manhertz to block J.D. Clowney. And one thing about J.D. Clowney is he's never lived up to being a pass rusher. He was supposed to be out of college, but he has always been a dominant run defender. And putting him against a tight end where the tight end is basically trying to block him with one arm to start the play is crazy. But here we go, Jackson Dart in the gun. He's got 3 receivers to the right of him, Bellinger to the left. He's got a little time. He's trying to move around. He is going to get a yard, and the Giants are looking like they're going to settle for another field goal. So couldn't find anybody open there, and the Giants will kick another field goal. Yeah, good coverage across the board from Dallas. And no. The announcer saying he could have gotten this Devin Singletary, but the guy was basically standing behind him. So great coverage by the Cowboys right there. This game going to overtime? I hope not. I hope not. And if it does, I mean, hopefully it's an exciting game and, you know, we end up losing in overtime. So 10-9, Dallas still up by 1 point. The Giants with 3 red zone trips, 3 field goals. Or I guess that first one wasn't a red zone trip. It was more of a, you know, what? I don't even know what the word is called. But close to red zone trip. Chambers hasn't played in the NFL yet. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just our fan base, but we just always have people that are just like ready to just like tear apart everything that happens when somebody is like getting hyped up as a Giant or a Giants coach. Like Brian Dable ended up being a disaster because he just simply didn't want to discipline players. I still feel like that's his biggest issue is that he let players do whatever they wanted. And I think if he didn't do that, he probably still coaching. But Giants fans were just like, as Brian Dable was giving his Coach of the Year speech, Giants fans were saying like, oh, this dude stinks. He's never going to be a good coach. And it's like we're always so ready to just like give up on people when they're playing well or when they're coaching well. I don't know what other fan bases do, but I just know we do a lot of that here. Browns are up 14-6 on the Bengals. Wow. So I don't know. They have no passing or rushing touchdowns, so I don't know what's going on. Joe Burrow has 1 interception and no fumbles lost. So I'm guessing somebody brought a kickback. Joe Burrow threw a pick 6. And Noah Fant fumbled the ball, and they returned a fumble for a touchdown. He said sound is down. Everybody else, let me know if my sound is too low. See if I need to adjust it. Because I don't wanna do too much where they should let me. My mic volume is turned up all the way here in StreamYard. So did this just happen? Okay. Well, I see 2 people saying it, so I'm going to turn my sound up here on my interface. Let's see. All right. I should sound a bit better. Should be able to hear me a little bit better. I wonder if my sound just went down because no one was saying this for a while. Okay, I'm seeing my sound come in pretty low within StreamYard. Okay, you saying it's better. Okay, perfect. All right, good. Okay, so forgot what I was talking about, but Dallas has the ball back. I just need Dallas to just score touchdowns every time at this point. Just score touchdowns every time, and then the Giants can start scoring touchdowns. That way, we're just, we get an exciting game, and we get to clinch having a number 2 overall pick. So I need Dallas to start putting up points. Dak Prescott in the gun. Hand off to Jaden Blue, and he's going to get a yard and go down. And that's actually a guy named Maffa. So let's see who else. See what else is going on. Like I said, with Cleveland up 14-6 on the Bengals. Let's see if they're driving right now. They just punted, I think. Yeah, the Bengals just punted it back to the Browns. So we'll keep an eye on that game. Prescott in the gun. Short throw. And easy first down. Somebody named Flournoy. Ryan Flournoy picks up a first down for the Cowboys. Basically a quick screen to the wide receiver. And the Cowboys ran it perfectly. So the Titans are down 7 to the Jaguars, so I'm not expecting the Titans to win that game. So the game we're already paying attention to is going to be the Browns, who are up right now 14-6 on the Bengals. Prescott under center. He's going to hand this off to Blue again. Blue's got some space. He's picking up 6.5. And Blue is probably going to have the game of his life today. Darius Alexander should be playing so much more. Yeah, I agree. I think Alexander has been getting better. And, I still think we're going to improve there at defensive tackle in the offseason, but it's good that he's here because I think he's going to be able to give us starter type of production and, maybe he'll just be in the rotation. But Darius Alexander on a nice play there. I just saw that play where he ran down the line of scrimmage and brought down Jaden Blue for a gain of 1. And I don't know who's. Okay, they're showing the Cowboys giving the ball to Jaden Blue because that was his first touchdown. Okay. So 3rd and 2 coming up for Dallas. Let's see if they come out in the gun or if they come out under center. They're out in the gun in 3rd and 2. Or just across the 50. Handoff here to Hunter Lipke, who breaks the first tackle by Brian Burns and picks up the first down. So, again, the tackling is still an issue. Just walked right through that tackle because they left. Who was it? That was actually Abdul Carter. Yeah, they left Abdul Carter unblocked and he couldn't bring down Hunter Lipke, and he just picked up the first down. So here we go back in the gun. Dak Prescott rolling out, finding the man wide open, and it looks like he dropped it. So Ryan Flournoy just drops a wide open catch. He was looking right at Dak Prescott, just couldn't bring the ball down. Yeah, just dropped it. I would say Dak put the ball pretty high, but still very, very catchable ball. I definitely like Sonny Styles more than Arvell Reese. I'm not a big fan of Arvell Reese. I think he may be able to be a good edge rusher, but as a linebacker, I don't like him at all. I don't think he's going to be an NFL stand up, inside linebacker. I just don't see it. So another play there from Jaden Blue, picking up another first down for Dallas as they are in the red zone again. Yeah, I definitely want, like I said, Caleb Downs is my number one player that I want this year. Dak Prescott firing it over the middle to the tight end, and they're inside the 15. Prescott looked off the safety, fired it right up the seam to the tight end. And they pick up about 25, something like that. Meanwhile, Ward Robertson Harris was getting the help, but I don't care. Like I said, we just got to make sure we come out of this game with a loss. I don't care how we do it. I would prefer it to be entertaining, but nonetheless, I just come out of the game with a loss. Here we go. Under center, Dak Prescott, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. Brian Burns was literally behind Dak Prescott as he was handing the ball off and just couldn't get to him. And Alfred Blue gets about a yard there on first down. 4:47 left in the second quarter, and Brian Burns is limping off the field. It looked like something happened as Brian Burns was trying to get through. And I'm hoping that this isn't something crazy like an Achilles from Brian Burns, because that can be deadly. That looked horrible. Hopefully that's an ankle sprain. Yeah, I don't know what happened there with Burns, but I'm hoping that's not a major injury. In the last game, and a game where we should be just benching this guy, if he has an Achilles, man, because he looks like he's in a lot of pain. 3rd and 6. Man. Dallas Cowboys in the gun. Dumping it off to Hunter Lipke. Hunter Lipke makes one guy miss, makes another guy miss, and he's going to be about 2 yards short of a first down. All right, 4th and 2. Okay, so they're taping up Brian Burns' ankle, so that's definitely not an Achilles. So looks good right there. George Pickens, 1-on-1 again with, can't tell who that is. That's not a Debo. So Dallas under center, seeing if they can draw us off sides probably. And they're going to let this clock run out and they'll take a field goal. Yeah, so dodge the bullet right there with Brian Burns. I was concerned that wasn't something crazy, but it looks like it's just an ankle. I just saw this play of Deontay Banks trying to make a play in the run game. It was terrible. 4th and 2 again. Dallas coming out there again after taking the timeout. So they're actually trying to go for it here, because they can't take another timeout here. They can only, maybe let the clock run out, go delay a game. So 4th and 2, Dallas Cowboys, 3 wide receivers, tight end in the middle of the field. Dak Prescott getting chased by Abdul Carter. Dak Prescott, and the play gets broken up, and there's a flag down. Rico Payton was all over George Pickens, but there's a flag down, and it'll probably be on Dallas. If yeah, it looks like Abdul Carter got held. So we'll see what the call is, but it looks like Abdul Carter got held. I would love to get Mansour Delane on this team, man. I would love that. Would love that. Banks is a very good return, man. I saw something that said Burns. Why does everyone want to draft a safety so high? The only reason I want to take a safety so high is because I think he gives more of an impact than most safeties do. And I think adding him specifically to our defense is very valuable. Like, I think he's very rangy. I don't see him as like an every down free safety, but he's a really great tackler. He's very instinctual. He's going to be a guy that just makes plays, for the team. So that's really why I'm interested in him being here. I think he's the best player in the draft, and that's what it comes down for me. Is I just think he's the best player in the draft, and I think that's an easy pick if you ask me. I've seen some bad defenses in my 50 years of living, but this Giants crew might be one of the worst. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they can't even consistently rush the passer well. I mean, I guess they get a lot of pressures, but they got a lot of issues. They've been looking better the last couple weeks under Charlie Bullen, but under Shane Bowen, I would definitely say this defense is a train wreck. It's terrible. Still not good. For me, Dallas with 30 years of nothing is just as good as a loss to them. Shane spent so much money on this garbage defense, and we just are saying like, oh, let's bring Joe Shane back. No issues there. Again, Mansour Delane, a guy I'd love to get on the team. Burns should just sit out the rest of the game. That's what I'm thinking. Like, why even send him back out there? Why even send him back out there? Cam Ward just left the game with an injury for the Titans. So that's a wrap on the Titans winning today against the Jaguars. Cam Ward got hurt, so hopefully he's okay. I don't know what kind of injury it is. Banks a very good returner, but we're trying to win so we can have an excuse to keep our moron GM. Cowboys are just as crappy as we are. Giants never do the right thing. I want the Giants to compete. They lose when you want them to. That's exactly what they do. When you want them to win, they lose. When you want them to lose, they win. Yeah, and that's really it. It's like I think he really is just in control of the entire defense. It's almost like adding an impact middle linebacker, except he's at safety. Definitely the physicality stands out. Let's see, I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I like how Charlie Bullen has called this defense. So early movement there from the Cowboys. They jumped offside, so we'll get 5 yards to start. So instead of starting on the 3, we'll start on the 8. But yeah, I think that Charlie Bullen has showed some good things. He showed some nice disguises. The team has been better against the run until today, of course, but they've been better against the run. They've been good at disguising things. They've gotten some pressures. They've done some creative things with Burns and Abdul Carter. So I like what I've seen from Bullen. All right, Dart in the center, handing it off. Nice run by Singletary. Oh, my God, that was a beautiful run. Started off to the outside. Someone started to close that off, cut it back inside, found a lot of space, kind of veered off to the right after that. Singletary has some really nice vision, and he's a guy that gets a lot of hate, and he's a very solid running back. He's not a home run guy. He's not scatterboo either, but he's a very, very solid running back. Another handoff, and that is Dart keeping it, and he's going to try to get outside, and he won't, and he's going to slide. All right, so here we go. 5-yard run from Jackson Dart after a slide. He said no holding call. That must be the next play because I haven't seen it yet. At least he's sliding. Yeah, I think Dart has learned his lesson. I think he's been sliding more. I think that play against the Patriots, I think he honestly didn't see that linebacker coming. I think he really just didn't. Yeah, I think he just really didn't understand that linebacker was coming from the blind side because he's not used to the speed of the NFL. But I think he's learning it, that he needs to protect himself. Yeah, it seems like I really feel like our division rivals do that. Like when the Eagles just all of a sudden blocked, when they just all of a sudden benched Jalen Hurts in that game. Like I think teams against us really do that. Like at least our division rivals. Let's see. So we'll have a 2nd and 5 coming out. We're at the 2 minute warning. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right at the 2 minute warning. Checking back on the Browns. The score is still 14-6. This is like if we can get the Browns to win today, and then we can get the Raiders to beat the Chiefs, the literal backups of the Chiefs, then we could get the #1 pick back. But we need the Browns to bring it home. We need the Browns to bring it home for sure. Because the Commanders, I think they shut down Jaden Daniels for the year, if I'm not mistaken. Did they? I don't think that dude's gonna play. Yeah, he's out for the year. So other than that, I don't see the. Are they benching Jalen Hurts today? I don't know what the standards are looking like, but even with Jalen Hurts not playing, it's gonna be hard to expect the Commanders to win this game against the Eagles. Even with their backups out there. So I really think it's this Browns game. It's hoping that the Browns can come out with a win against the Bengals, and the Raiders can beat again the backups of the Chiefs. Because if that can happen, we get back to #1 pick. If we lose today, I think no matter what, we have the #2 pick. So 2 minutes left. 2nd and 5. Jackson Dart, 3 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Tracy beside him in the gun. Jackson Dart, decent protection. And that ball's a little bit too low for Darius Slayton. Made the right pick, but made the right decision, but the ball's just a little bit too short for Slay. And I'm hearing that Shane might not be as safe as we think. Now, listen, I'm hearing that from some sources. Don't know how reliable those sources are, but I'm hearing that right now. That just came through on my phone. So we'll find out on that. Jackson Dart fired it in between traffic on Gunnar Olszewski. He loves playing with Gunnar Olszewski. Trust that dude a lot. Trust that dude a lot. First order of business off Saden. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about trading Kayvon and Dex. I don't want to trade Dex at all because I think he's starting to look like the old version of himself. And right there, Dart takes the sack. But again, I'm not sure about what we're gonna do about Dex. Because I think he's back to being the same player. I think, week 1 of next year, he'll be the old Dex. But Kayvon is like, we could definitely benefit from getting this guy, getting a pick for him. We could definitely benefit from that. But at the same time, if we come out next year, like, the Patriots came out this year, then we could definitely we could for sure use a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau as our third edge. And also, who's going to be our third edge if we do trade Kayvon Thibodeau? That's kind of the thing. It goes from an ultra strength to a very thin position because there hasn't been. It's very easy to lose depth at a position. Like, remember, we had Leonard Williams, we had Dexter Lawrence, we had Dalvin Tomlinson, we had BJ Hill all on the same team. And then all of a sudden, we have this huge hole at defensive tackle. At safety, we had McKinney, we had Julian Love, we had Logan Ryan, we had Jabril Peppers all on the same team, and now we have a safety issue. So I think you have to continue to build on these positions that you want to say are your positions of strengths. So you may not pay Kayvon Thibodeau, but you got another couple of years of control for him. So 1st and 25 here for the Giants. On their own 22. Gunnar Olszewski in motion. Handoff to Tracy, who got a full head of steam, but is going to go down after a gain of 3, 4, something like that. So this will be a 2nd and 21, I think, coming up. Meanwhile, Tyler Shuck carrying it in. I was the biggest Tyler Shuck fan all off season long. All off season long, I was the biggest Tyler Shuck fan, and I'm just happy the dude looks as great as I thought he was gonna look. Yeah, we won't be able to afford to pay Kayvon, but it's just about, do you want to give up a year of having him under contract and having that depth for the extra picks? Do you think you can you do something with it? Because again, you have him for this upcoming year, and you possibly could pay Kayvon, and his contract will be expiring around the same time that you might have to pay Abdul Carter, depending on how much money you give him, how many years you give him. Tracy makes a guy miss, but he's going to end up only getting about 5 yards there. So this will make this a 3rd and 18, and there's a flag down. And now the Cowboys just gave us a fresh set of downs because of a late hit. So on what would have been a 3rd and 18 is going to turn into a 1st and 10 and a 15-yard penalty because they buried a guy into the ground. Yep, late hit by the defense, and the Giants will get an automatic 1st down. We might need to take Bain because Carter, not a full-time edge. Yeah, we'll see. Carter has to put on some weight. He also is going to do a lot of rushing over the center. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say we don't need to take Bain at all. I don't think we need to take Bain. And he's probably in that discussion with Caleb Downs for the best player in the draft. But I wouldn't be mad if we took Bain because you can never have enough pass rushers. If you trade Kayvon and then you take Bain, that's not that bad to me. Quick throw to Gunnar Olszewski again from Jackson Dart, and we're 2 yards short of a 1st down. So Jackson Dart kind of moving a little bit. I think he just hit 100 yards flat, 10 for 17. 10. They were 2 plays behind, so 11 for 18, 105 yards for Jackson Dart. And the Giants have 2 timeouts. They're inside the 50, and they're in business. So here we go. Jackson Dart forever finds a guy. Gunnar Olszewski, a beautiful throw from Jackson Dart to the outside shoulder. Gunnar Olszewski puts us just outside the 20. 56 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. Jackson Dart moving this offense down the field. That was a nice throw there on the run. Gunnar Olszewski back in the slot. Isaiah Hodgins in there. Darius Slayton out there. Bellinger in the tight slot. Checking it down to Tracy, and Tracy is going to get out of bounds smartly after a gain of 1. So here we go. They're showing this play to Gunnar Olszewski. Again, breaking outside, beautifully placed ball. Beautifully placed ball with the anticipation from Jackson Dart on the move. Nice play. So we'll have a 2nd and 9 coming up. Gunnar Olszewski has 69 yards. He probably is going to get 100 yards today because he's been the number 1 target, which is crazy that we paid Darius Slayton $12 million a year, and now we got a false start. But we paid Slayton $12 million a year only for Gunnar Olszewski to be the number 1 receiver. Man, the Cowboys stink, man. I really need Dak Prescott to turn things up in the second half. This is ridiculous that they only have 10 points on the board against our defense. All right, Gunnar Olszewski again in motion. Dart back there by himself. Dart in motion. Dart rolling left. Dart is going to run out of bounds when he could have just thrown it away. So Dart is going to run out of bounds at the 29. 31 seconds left. And Third and 16 coming up. Yeah, you should have just thrown the ball out of bounds. Sometimes these young quarterbacks just make that mistake. Haven't caught your thoughts on who are my top options. I'll run through that in a sec, right after this next play. Third and 16. Jackson Dart in the gun. 3 wide receivers right, or 3 wide receivers in total. Jackson Dart throws the ball again to Daniel Bellinger, who's cutting across the field. Daniel Bellinger off the toss from Jackson Dart just housed it. That is nuts. That is nuts. That is nuts. That is nuts. We only get this kind of magic when we don't want it. Jackson Dart drops back, is under instant pressure, pitches it sideways to Daniel Bellinger, who breaks like 3 tackles, and all of a sudden Daniel Bellinger is this yak monster. That is crazy, man. That was crazy. So let's talk about the head coaching options. Early on, I was a Gruden guy. I don't think we're going to bring in Gruden, so it is what it is there. But after that, I'm looking at guys like Marcus Freeman, who people are saying, he's a leader of men, this and that. I'm not really sure on if Marcus Freeman can translate to the NFL. The college and the NFL games are 2 different things. I think he can give a great speech, just like Matt Rule can give a great speech. But what will he do as far as the X's and O's? And that's my thing. So he's a guy I'm intrigued by, but I'm still waiting to see more. And I still don't really see like where he's gonna really give us an advantage X's and O's wise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do I think he's a brilliant defensive or offensive mind? I don't think so. Yeah, he's saying that because he's getting paid a lot of money, but at the same time, we don't know. You never know. Because from what I've seen, the Giants have already interviewed him. That's what I've seen, and that could just be, complete hogwash. But from what I've seen, the Giants have already interviewed him, has started that process. But also, again, how's that going to translate? And then when I look at guys like, you got your vet coaches. So you got Mike McCarthy. You're going to have maybe Stefanski, who's going to get fired. You're going to have Rob Saleh, who might get an interview. So you're going to have a couple of vet head coaches. And then you got your exciting guys. So Chris Shula. You got the guy in Seattle who just took the league by storm, Kubiak. Clint Kubiak for the Seahawks. So there's a lot of options. I would really say my top guys right now from the work I've done, probably Kubiak, just because what he brings from an offensive perspective. I like Halfley from the Packers because, he's a Jersey guy. He is that Packers defense has been really good. I think looking at him, he's a really good leader. He was the head coach at Boston College, so he's been a head coach of a franchise of a pretty big team. My only concern is that he said he wasn't concerned. He wanted to get back to coaching football when he came to the NFL, and he didn't want to have to worry about all of the other small things, and that's concerning. But yeah, I like Shula, and a lot of people are saying that Stefanski won the 7th pick. Yeah, so I have the graphic on that, and I can pull that up when we get in the half. But yeah, I'm interested in a lot of these guys. I think Shula's up there, Kubiak's up there. Stefanski wouldn't be a bad thing, and I'm forgetting who else as a head coach that may shake loose. Tomlin and Harbaugh are very high on that list if they get moved on from, which looks possible. One of those guys are looking like they're not going to be back. So a lot of good names, but I'm still doing work there, and I'm definitely going to have some videos about it. Dallas could care less about this game. They don't care. I guarantee you I could do a better job than what we've done because I have. Like literally a lot of the content creators and like fans on Twitter, if you would have just listened to the fans and content creators for a lot of these major picks, some of the things would have been horrible, but a lot of these things we would have been in a better situation listening to fans and content creators than the GMs. So Dallas is going to go in the half kneeling this. They're going to be down 16-10. And they're going to get the ball out of the half, so we need Dallas to put on a clinic. We need a Dallas Prescott clinic here. The Giants are cooking the Cowboys defense so far. They've moved up and down the field. It's just a matter of they haven't been able to capitalize in the red zone. So that's the only reason we're not blowing them out. Yeah, ChatGPT could definitely do a better job. That's my biggest problem. And like I said, I just saw something come in about basically, let me zoom out here, see if I can drop this camera a bit. But I just saw something come in that is saying Shane's job might not be as safe as we thought it was. So hopefully that's true. Hopefully that's true. See if I can fix my camera. I'm coming off like kind of yellowish, like a Simpsons character. Well, I already got this up now. Let's see. Y'all are getting to see my camera settings. All right. Still coming off the same way, so didn't change anything. But yeah, hopefully the Shane stuff is true. Hopefully the Shane stuff is true. I don't know what's going on with the focus here. Do I need to do this myself? Okay. But yeah, hopefully the Shane stuff is true, and you know, he's not gonna be here, because I'm really concerned about a coach saying like I don't want to work with Joe Shane. But Joe Shane is the one that's leading the search. Like Joe Shane is literally leading the search. But like, look at CJ Stroud, how he's moving. I don't think Mendoza's moving that well. I just don't. Yeah, they're showing these highlights. Yeah, Mendoza's not moving as well as CJ Stroud, so it's really like a Kirk Cousins. It's really a Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff kind of athleticism for Mendoza, which isn't completely stationary, but not necessarily giving you a ton of room there. And then they're showing Kirk Cousins. They're holding the ball forever, finding Drake London wide open. Let me take a look back at the Bengals and Browns to see what's happening there. Of course, the Bengals got to 12. The Browns still haven't scored an offensive touchdown. Joe Shane on Hard Knocks alone scared away all the good coaches. Yeah, Joe Shane, man. I really think that there's going to be some head coaches that don't take interviews or back out because of that. But also we're hearing that it's like that's the number one coaching job. We're hearing that from, you know, head coach candidate after head coach candidate, from these, you know, reporters that are saying like, basically this is the number one spot that they want to be at. So Jackson Dart, again, has had a decent first half. He's made some nice throws. But, you know, of course, this is Dallas' defense. But I want to secure the second overall pick, man. Like, this is ridiculous that we're up at the half against this Dallas offense that is ran through the entire league on offense. And all of a sudden, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb can't get open. Like, they're going against Rico Payton, and they can't get open. Like, the Cowboys are averaging what? Like, how many yards per carry? I got to see this. They have 95 rushing yards on how many carries? They've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So it looks like they're averaging like 6 yards a carry, 5-6 yards a carry. Blue, their running back he's got 76 yards at the half, but the Cowboys only have 10 points on the board. Prescott has 70 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I just don't understand how this George Pickens has 3 targets, 1 catch. CeeDee Lamb has 1 target, 1 catch for 4 yards. So it's just, I don't understand how this Giants defense is holding this receiver duo out to this extent after they've run through the entire league. But that's just what happens when you need the Giants to step up and lose. They always fall apart. They always fall apart and just look like, a super team. Like last year when Drew Lock came out against the Colts and put on a clinic, like had one of the best quarterback games of all time. Joe Shane is talking to Frank Gore about running backs don't last. was lack of awareness, and yeah. Yeah. Joe Shane had no idea what the market looked like for running. He's got a lot of, he's done some good things. Micah McFadden, Tracy, he's done some decent things, but I think more often than not, he's had us in a horrible situation since he's been here. Going from 2-7 for a meaningless game is crazy to me. Yeah, 2-7. That's what we're going, 2-7, and we won't go 2-7 if the Jets, Browns, Commanders, if any of those teams win, we won't go all the way down to 7. But if all of them lose, which they should lose because they're going against better teams, we could be picking as low as 7, which is nuts. But it wouldn't surprise me because that's just what we do. Yeah, he said, who's going to pay Saquon? He said the Eagles are out, the Bears are out, and the Eagles were definitely not out. Frank Gore doesn't coach anywhere. I think he might coach in college. Let me check on that. Let me see. Frank Gore is a member of the 49ers front office. So there you go. He's not a coach. He's a part of the 49ers front office. What are the odds that Joe Shane lets himself be demoted to stay? Hell no. He's not doing that. Joe Shane is not doing that. Joe Shane has this front office, this ownership wrapped around his pinky. He's going to stay as GM until it's going to be basically a Jerry Reese situation where he's going to be here for close to a decade, and they're going to just continue to keep him here. And it doesn't matter how bad the roster looks, how many times he ignores a certain position. He's just going to stay here because they like him. He's Parcells' golden child. He's the guy that they like, and he's made friendships with the right people in the organization. So I want to share Doug Analytics' post here that shows how the Giants could possibly lock up lock up the number 2 pick, number 1 pick, or the 7th pick. So let's share my screen here. See if I can share this tab. Okay, let's go there. So yeah, shout out to Doug Analytics. And here we go. So according to this graphic from Doug Analytics on Twitter, guy that puts out a lot of analytics across the entire league, but seems like he's a Giants fan. If the Giants lose and Vegas wins, Seattle has already beat San Francisco. We just need Cleveland to hold on to their lead right now, and we could get the number 1 pick. Now, if none of these teams, if these teams don't lose, if these teams don't win, and I think Atlanta is playing against New Orleans right now. What's the score there? Atlanta's up on New Orleans, so that's possible too. So if either the Falcons hold on, because the Jaguars are up 31-7 on the oh my God, the Jaguars are up 31-7 on the Titans at the half. At the half, they're up 31-7. So if the Saints lose and the Falcons hold on to this spot that they're in, they're up 10-7. If they hold on, we will get the number one pick if we lose today and the Raiders lose. Now, if the Raiders and the Raiders win, if the Raiders lose, then we get the number two pick. Now, if we win today, and I'm not sure if you all can see my mouse, but if we win today, it basically depends on how many of these teams win. So if Cleveland wins, we'd be probably at pick number 6. If Cleveland and Tennessee win, we'd be at pick number 5. If Cleveland, Tennessee, and Arizona win, and they're not winning, but you get what I'm saying. No matter, basically, however many of these teams win is where we're going to end up being slotted. And that is looking like, at the very best, it's going to be like pick 5. That's where it's looking like we're going to be picking if we win today. So that is what we're looking at if we win this game. If we lose, it's very likely that either the Browns or the Falcons will hold on to their leads today, and we will be able to, and the Raiders have a decent shot at beating the Chiefs this next game, because the Chiefs are rolling out. I mean, I want to let you know who's out for the Chiefs. Karlaftis is questionable for the Chiefs. Pacheco is questionable for the Chiefs. Moore, the offensive lineman, is questionable for the Chiefs. Worthy is out, is doubtful with an illness. You got, I don't know, he's not that good. You got Trey Smith out. Mahomes is on IR. They're missing a ton of guys. Now, as far as Geno Smith, he's out. Parham's out for the Raiders. Butler is out for the Raiders, and Mostert is questionable. So the Raiders, I mean, it seems like it's just going to be two bare bones bad teams duking it out against each other. And we'll see if the Raiders can win. But we have no shot at the number one pick if we win. We have no shot there at all. And that's the saddest thing is that, yeah, the majority of our wins. Because last year we won 3 games. And I would say probably at least one of them was an unnecessary win in our opinion. The 6-win season, I'd say we probably won 2 or 3 games that we were like, I mean, come on. the DeVito games, and that's the last 3 years where we couldn't even celebrate. That's crazy. We won 3 games last year. We won 6 games the year before, and we won 2 this year. So that means the win we had this year, we won 3 this year. So the 2 wins we had this year early on in the season, we celebrated. We were excited. The 3rd win, kind of 50-50. So couldn't even celebrate the 3rd win. Same thing last year. Couldn't celebrate the 3rd win. So 4 wins the last 2 years, and then 3 wins that we got 2 years ago with DeVito. So that means in the last 3 years, Giants fans have only really been able to celebrate like 4 or 5 wins. Like what? You had what? 3 to the 4. So 7 wins in the last 3 years the Giants have been able to celebrate. Out of like 40 games? That's nuts. Most of it has been tank. Most of it have been games where we were supposed to tank. You said Raiders understood. Yeah, they understand the mission, and we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens there with the Raiders, and if they come out and their backups come out and try to get signed someplace else and put on a show against the Chiefs. But there's no Mahomes, and they got some other guys missing too. So we'll see. Now, I mean, of course, Andy Reid is a good coach. Pete Carroll overall is a good coach, but hasn't done well this year. So we'll see. But the number one step is, of course, leaving this game with a loss, which it doesn't seem like we're going to do because the Cowboys are kind of folding. And that's just what they do best in our division, just fold. So here we go. The Giants are going to kick this off to the Cowboys. It is Jamie Gillen again. Turpin is going to field this at the 1-yard line. He's bringing it out. He's across the 20. He is going down at the 23, and there's a flag down, so the Cowboys will probably go back another 10 yards. So last game of the season, it just stinks, man, that we're it just stinks that we're in this situation where we're rooting for losses. And this is the last time we're gonna see this team play. The Cowboys just benched Dak Prescott. The Cowboys just benched Dak. Okay. So yeah, we're done. We're done. So the Cowboys are gonna be picking number 6 or number 5 because the Cowboys just benched Dak Prescott. So there you go. Joe Milton getting the whole second half. Hopefully we get some Milton magic. But the Cowboys have benched Dak Prescott, and I'm not that excited because I don't think Milton is gonna lead this team to a win. So they start off with a negative run here, and at this point, man, as Giants fans, we might as well start rooting for a win because we're getting screwed here. So Joe Milton in the shotgun, another handoff, play action. Wow. Yeah, the Cowboys are tanking. I don't know what they're. It seems like the Cowboys are tanking now because they just are just destroying any shot they have at winning. And this is why I try not to start rooting for the tank because we always end up in this situation. We always end up in this situation. So 3rd and 16, Joe Milton has had 2 straight runs, and he's going to take off here, and he's going to try to reverse field, and he's going to be about 4 yards short of a first down. So the Cowboys will punt. Decent run from Joe Milton, but again, this means that it's over. The Giants are going to probably win this game going away now. So, like I said, most likely the Giants will win this game, and they probably will be picking somewhere around 6 or 5. Um, wow. Here we go. So I'm sure Jackson Dart is going to come out and put up 3 more touchdowns today. Gunnar Olszewski reversing field. Gunnar Olszewski breaking tackles, and he's going to go down to 39. Like, I already know they're going to talk about how the Giants finished the season strong when they went against the Raiders and Joe Milton. Like, we're going to just keep hearing about how we finished the season strong when we went against a team that's not even a real NFL team and the backups of the Cowboys. Giants always want to take the more hard road, LMAO, while these other teams don't care. Just do what the rest of the team. That's what I'm saying. Like they put Wan'Dale Robinson on IR, so I'm like, okay, they understand it a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, what are we doing? With at this point, we might as well not put Wan'Dale on IR and like let us have an entertaining win. Because they just took out Dak. So why can't we see, whatever, man. Whatever. These teams in our division always find a way to do this. Where they'll like I said, they bench Jalen Hurts. It's always something with these teams, man. This is crazy work. Like, we're going to have to hear that from Shane. Is that we wrapped up the season winning 2 straight times, and we finished the season strong when we literally won against the Raiders and the backups of the Cowboys. And you know Jackson Dart is about to throw for like three more touchdowns today. And we're going to see these dudes running and jumping around like monsters. They're going to be out there hyped up. Like, what was the point of this? What was the point of this, man? So here we go. Jackson Dart in the gun, or under center, looking like Tracy. Fakes the handoff to Tracy. Jackson Dart is taking off, and he's going to slide here. And he's going to get 3-4 yards, and there's a flag down. And because of a hit on Jackson Dart, we're going to get 15 more yards. Like, this is crazy, man. Yeah, you can't hit the quarterback while he's sliding. Commanders fan rooting for the Giants. I'm sure you are. I don't know if you're actually rooting for the Giants, like, because you want the Cowboys to lose, or if you're rooting for us because you want us to have a worse pick. But, I mean, the Giants are going to win this game going away now because they benched Dak Prescott. I mean, completely ruins the plan. Hand off to Tracy. Tracy hurdles through the line, gets outside. He's upfield. Oh, my God. That was a crazy hurdle. The guy got to the outside. Yeah, I went downs on the Giants, and I know if the Commanders are picking before us, Downs isn't going to make it to the Giants. So we're not going to get the haul, and we're also not going to get Downs. And we're going to have to play against the dude. Dart under center. Play action here. Dart throwing it short. And there's a flag down, probably a hold. As Tracy is fighting for some more yards. The Cowboys know what they're doing. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They're going to disguise it as like, oh, we just wanted to give Milton a look. We wanted to give Joe Milton a look. Sure. But like I said, at this point, you might as well just have fun and watch the game because Joe Milton is not going to lead his team back to a win. And Jackson Dart is about to continue to run through this defense as he's been doing the last quarter and a half. First and 15. You got 3 wide receivers. Bellinger in motion. All right, ball snapped. Quick throw to Gunnar Olszewski and a quick first down. First and 15 yards there. And the Giants are converting. Like, I just can't. I can't believe it, but you know it is what it is, man. Of course, we finished the season with 2 straight wins after losing like 9 straight. Another handoff here as we get a nice cutback from Tracy to pick up 3. Oh yeah, the Raiders are gonna win, man. Oh yeah. And I forgot what Bobby's bet was with his fans. And Jackson Dart missed that throw there. Yeah, Bobby just lost his bet that he had with his fans on the Giants Nation show. He said he didn't. He said Gunnar Olszewski shouldn't get 100 yards on the season. He didn't think that was going to happen. Well, Gunnar just is about to get 100 yards this game and is over 100 for the season. So he's doing a raffle. I think it's like $100 bet or something. So there you go. But here, 3rd and 6, Dart and the gun. Across the middle, finds Tyra. Oh my God. Finds Tyrone Tracy up the seam. And the Giants are about to go away with it. They're about to run away with it. Nice throw from Jackson Dart in the back of the end zone. But I'm disappointed, man. This is not going to go how we wanted it. This is not going to go how we wanted it. We lost 8 straight. Exactly. Oh, he's saying the Commanders lost 8 straight. Okay. Yeah, the Giants lost a bunch of games in a row, and now all of a sudden we're winning. Dart looking like Steve Young out there. And the Giants and the Cowboys are still fighting. I don't care about these flags because who cares? I mean, like, who cares about the flags? Like, I don't care about these flags because it's not going to affect the impact that it, like, it's not like, oh man, we just messed up, so now we might lose, because they're not going to come back. It's a 13-point game. It's about to be coming up. You got Joe Milton out there. So again, who are we taking? I think at this point it's what? It's probably Carnell Tate at number 7, if he makes it there, because the Commanders could very well say, like, we need a receiver, and they could go after Carnell Tate. I mean, I wouldn't say they hit Dart late there, but the offensive line didn't like it. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say the hit was late on Jackson Dart, but the offensive line didn't like it, and that started the brawl. Let's see what I'm missing here. Downs is off the table, yeah. I'm done with these Giants. We can't even take right. Like I said, man, I try not to. You all pulled me in this year, and I was in like the last years by myself. But I was trying not to buy into the tank and still root for us to win. But I just got so excited when I saw if the Giants lose today, they clinched the first pick last week. I just got so excited. But I already know, like, why even get excited and wait for us to do something right in that? We're not going to do it. Of course, the Giants break the Cowboys' course at the end. Yeah. Listen, the only silver lining to this, the silver lining to this is that Jackson Dart is undefeated against Dak Prescott. Yeah, I mean, I let's see. Crazy how you think winning these last few games proves anything when both of the teams were. I mean, honestly, I don't even think the Cowboys are trying to tank. I just think the Cowboys don't care about the result of this game, and they know that literally, what's the point? Singletary throwing it across his body. Oh my God. Devin Singletary just threw it across his body to Darius Slayton in the end zone. This is nuts, man. This is nuts, man. Devin Singletary legitimately threw the ball across his body. I mean, literally, Devin Singletary is Jackson Dart. Let's see. Am I missing anything else? Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised here. I'm not surprised because it happens every single year. You want the Giants to do something. You want the Giants to come out of a season. Um, you want the Giants to come out of a season doing something right. They're never going to do it. As an Eagles fan, of course, the Eagles fans always find a way to make their way. As an Eagles fan, congrats on the culture win today, the 7th overall pick. I think the Browns or the Falcons might hold on. We might pick 6, but it just stinks, man. Shout out to Talking Eco for the $4.99. He says the Cowboys tanking because they don't want the Giants to have the 2nd pick. Reminds me how they traded back with the Eagles in 2021. Yeah, it does remind me of that too. They traded back with the Eagles in 2021, which caused us to trade out. Caused us to trade out of our pick. Instead of taking Micah Parsons, we traded out of our pick and don't take Christian Darrisaw at 21. We take Kadarius Toney. So, it's just more unfortunate things that happen every single time this team. All you got to do is lose a game and we get DeVito magic. All you got to do is lose a game and you get Drew Lock putting up the best game, like one of the best games of the last 40 years. Drew Lock. Let me look up Drew Lock versus the Colts. This dude's stat line against the Colts: 17 for 23, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. That's what we need. That's when we needed to lose. Drew Lock showed up and put up 5 touchdowns, 17 for 23, 309 total yards. Malik Neighbors goes bonkers. Like, we could have had Drake May. We could have had Jaden Daniels. But nope, we go out there and we win meaningless games. And we had a chance here because we could have had Mayor Daniels, but we got a guy who looks like he's going to be a pretty good quarterback at the very least. He looks like that. And, we go into this time where we have a chance to get the number 1 pick. Okay, it's the Raiders. It is what it is. They deserve the number 1 pick over us anyway. But you can get the number 2 pick. But you go against the Cowboys, who will put up points against every team in football, and you pitch a defensive clinic in the first half and give up 10 points to them. It is what it is, man. Like I said, what did I say? The Giants are just going to put up 3 more touchdowns. Joe Milton taking a deep shot here and misses the guy by a country mile. So, yeah, like I said, I expected Jackson Dart. The moment they benched Dak Prescott, I said Jackson Dart is going to have 3 more touchdowns. And that's what's going to happen. The Giants are probably going to score every time they get the ball now. Like, I don't care about the Giants coming out of this game saying, like, oh, we left this game. We felt like we had a lot of momentum at the end of by beating the Raiders and the Cowboys backup quarterback. And look at Abdul Carter coming. Like, are you kidding me? Abdul Carter almost brought Joe Milton down, but they picked up 5 yards there, so they'll have a 3rd and 5 coming up. But it's just like, come on, man. This could have very well easily been at least a shootout. Like, at least a shootout where we're like, okay, we have a fun game, and then Dak Prescott comes out there and, does his thing. But they benched Dak in the second half, and this is what we get. Third and 5 coming up as Joe Milton is in the gun. And listen, like, at least let Jackson Dart pad his stats. I don't want Jackson Dart getting pulled out so we could get Russell Wilson some pity reps or something as Milton rotates a little bit, kind of fades a little bit outside of the pocket and hits Ryan Flournoy on a 20-something yard play. All right, so that play will stand there from Dallas. So a nice chunk play from Dallas there. But again, I don't see them coming back from a 14-point deficit with Joe Milton. And that's Deonte Banks against Flournoy. So Banks is holding on him forever. Flournoy gets his hands off of him, gets separation even after the hold, and Milton just kind of holds on until he finds him wide open. Here we go. Another pitch here to Jaden Blue, and he's going to go back 2 yards. Would have loved to get a first-round pick this year, another first-round pick next year, but who knows, man. Joe Shane's the GM, so he wasn't going to use it well anyway. It is what it is there. But we're not getting Caleb Downs. We're going to have to be looking for a wide receiver at this point. Yeah, I really think Dallas is taking a look at Milton. It's just unfortunate because I don't think he's bringing his team back. Milton, another errant throw, straight out of bounds. Abdul Carter has been like harassing Joe Milton. Ever since he's been in there, Abdul Carter's been close to hitting Joe Milton every time. And he has hit him a couple of times, just hasn't sacked him. And Dexter Lawrence landed on top of Joe Milton. So here we go. They gave Abdul Carter a 12.5% pressing percent. Anyway, let's see Joe Milton in the gun, throwing it short. Flournoy again, who's been very busy. Have they benched CeeDee Lamb? And I think they benched CeeDee Lamb and all those guys. Yeah. So yeah, their backups are in the game. Their backups are in the game because I think they benched CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. He gave. Yeah, I don't even think they're throwing the game. I think you pull Dak Prescott out, they're not going to. Their defense already stunk. Like they weren't going to be good. They were going to give up at least 24-25 to us today, but the offense that first half was so ineffective. And are you kidding? I'm about to lose my mind. This dude makes he can make a 70. He can make a okay, this is a conspiracy. He can make a 70-yard field goal against us almost, but he can't make that play. Aubrey can make an 80-yard field goal against us if the game is on the line. Like, he can make that, but he can't. Like, come on now. Like, this is crazy. Like I said, the only thing I take away from this that's positive is that Jackson Dart is 1-0 against Dak Prescott. Smart and Giants front office don't even go together. Aubrey in on the tank. Aubrey's been missing a lot lately. I haven't seen it. I haven't been watching them, so I haven't seen that. But I just know if this game was close and like the Giants need this game to go to the playoffs or something, Brandon Aubrey would make that from 78. Like he would make that from 78 to kick them into the playoffs over us. He will make that from 78 for sure. We're not even getting the truth. Exactly. That's the thing is like, if you're going to win, I would love to win against Dak Prescott. Like the full game. I would love for Dak to come out and play the full game, and that's how we win. But we beat the backup quarterback, really? Like, this is how we win, and we didn't even... Come on, man. Let's see. Yeah, the Giants are not going to they're not going to be picking number 2. they're going to be picking probably number 6. I don't have that graphic pulled up anymore, but I'm thinking the pick is going to be number 6 because let's see what the Falcons game is looking like, and let's see what the Browns game is looking like. Browns are up 17-12. That's good. The Falcons are still up 10-7. So, yeah, if we can, if they can hold on, then we'll at least be picking 5 instead of 7. Throwing it short to Tracy. Tracy upfield. Quick 9 yards from the Giants. Dart to Tracy. And I expect Jackson Dart. Like I said, Jackson Dart, you better have 5 touchdowns a day. Like, get 5 touchdowns a day, and I can at least say, like, okay, my quarterback, even against a trash defense, he put up 5 touchdowns and, at least padded some stats. Handoff here to Tracy. Tracy up the middle. Tracy for another 10. Cowboys defense folding. But yeah, at least pass some stats today if we're gonna be in this situation where we're gonna get this meaningless win against the Cowboys backups. Another play action. Dart stepping up. Dart taking off, almost fumbles the ball, and gets it back. Didn't fumble it, but still a good job by him to make sure he got on top of it. So let's see. Jackson Dart on the season. Let's see. 1, 2, 4, 7, and 8, 10, 11, 13. So far, Jackson Dart is at 15 passing touchdowns, 2,000 yards on the season. And then, of course, the 9 rushing touchdowns. 2nd and 10 coming up. Jackson Dart, short throw to Tracy. Tracy up the field. Tracy cutting back. Tracy crossed the first down marker, and Jackson Dart got absolutely obliterated. And Tyrone Tracy, even though he hasn't fumbled the whole year, fumbles in week 18. So let's see if Dallas can pick up some magic here. Yeah, Tracy with a nice catch, nice moves after, but just lost the ball here in week 18 after not fumbling the entire season. Tyrone Tracy fumbles in week 18. So there's a chance, maybe we get a big play from Joe Milton, but again, it'll be very difficult for them to come back here because they don't have CeeDee Lamb out there. They don't have George Pickens out there. So he's going to have to come back with, Milton is going to have to go out there with Flanoy and Kevontae Turpin and come out and win this game. Which will be difficult for Dak. Like, that would be difficult enough to deal with for Dak. And now we're going to need him, Milton, to do that with backup receivers. So basically, Dallas is not trying to win. Weird sound coming from my speakers. Let me see. Is it like this? Is it my earphone? I wonder if something's shaking or something. It's maybe the table shaking. Move this over a little bit. Yeah, let me know what you're hearing. Cause I wonder if it's the table shaking or maybe like my earphone or something. Okay. But yeah, we're in a situation where like it's just a lose-lose because like it's one thing if you come out and beat this Dallas team, or the defense stinks, but it's one thing if you come out and you beat this Dallas offense. Yeah, I think I was probably shaking the table because I had my hand on the table and it probably was shaking the mic. But it's one thing if you come out and you outduel this Dallas offense and that's how you win. But you're literally playing against basically the Raiders again because you take out their offensive firepower. You take out the quarterback and the two number one receivers, of course you're going to win. And J.D. Clowney padding the stats, 2 sacks today. Yeah, I'm not really worried about J.D. Clowney going forward in like an actual game. 24-10 ball game still for the Giants. Joe Milton under center. Handoff to Jaden Blue, who's driving the power forward, and he'll get 9. I would really think that the Cowboys maybe want to throw the ball. Because, if they get to 17 here, it's a one possession game. But we'll see if the Giants can actually can pull this off. And when I say pull this off, I mean blow a lead, which they've done all year long. So the Cowboys at their own 39. Hand off to Jaden Blue again. Jaden Blue picks up another first down. Yeah, Dallas wants us to pick at 7 for sure. But yeah, it's looking like we're going to pick it around 5. Because again, if Cleveland holds on and they win, and the Falcons also hold on, then we'll pick at 5. But it's looking like Cleveland is they have a pretty good command of what's going on, because they have the ball. They're up 17-12. Let's see. They're at the Cincinnati 40 right now, 3rd and 5. So if they can put up a field goal, that'll at least be an 8-point game. And they get an incomplete pass there. So they're going to probably punt now. Oh, man. Okay. Joe Milton, 2nd and 7. Joe Milton, screenplay. And really, we get an open field tackle. Really? Really? What a joke. So that was a nice job by Joe Milton to get that screen off, but, we get an amazing open field tackle. I think that was Art Green or Rico Payton in the open field. But it's seeming like the Giants are probably going to come out with this win. So 3rd and 6 coming up. Joe Milton back in the gun. Joe Milton hits Flanoy, who's going to be a yard short of a first down. He should be a yard short. And I mean, again, like, not only have you taken out the starting quarterback, you're not even giving Milton a chance, because you should have left the number one wide receiver in the game. Because these guys are backup wide receivers. They're not going to win against the Debo. Like, that's just not going to happen. Joe Milton in the gun. Joe Milton holding on to it. He's got a blocker. Joe Milton across the 40. Joe Milton across the 30, across the 25, and he stiff arms the guy for an extra 5-6 yards. And he is inside the 40-yard line. So nice run by Joe Milton there. Stiff arm on Rico Payton. There we go. So the Cowboys starting off inside what looks like the 35. All right, let's see if the Cowboys can get a quick strike and make this a game. Play action. Joe Milton, quick screen play. Maffa, their running back, picks up a first down, and he just fumbled the football, and the Giants got it. Oh, my God. Oh, where was this the whole season? Where was this the whole season, man? Where was this the whole season? Where was this? Where was this, man? Where was this? Why is Elijah Chapman forcing fumbles, man? We got Elijah Chapman running people down, forcing fumbles in 20. And that's Darius. Okay, he was down. Looks like he was down. Okay, looked like he was down. Okay. He was down. Okay. Looks like he was down. Okay, good. He was down. Man, we need them in the end zone like yesterday. We need them in the end zone like we need Joe Milton to have his statement game. We need Joe Milton we need this dude Joe Milton to have his statement game. And we need to put in Russell Wilson to see we owe it to Russell Wilson. I think we owe it to Russell Wilson I think we owe it to him to give him a shot to go out there and audition for the other 31 teams. I think we owe it to him, man. We got to throw him out there. So here we go. Joe Milton under center, 3 wide receivers, Jaden Blue behind him. I really would hope that he wouldn't hand this ball off, but they probably will hand this ball off. And they're going to lose 2 yards there as it gets completely blown up. Drew Phillips blows it up there. Yeah, I think we need to evaluate Russ, man. We got to see what Russ can do, what he can provide. And, he might be an option going forward, Like, who's the better backup quarterback? I'm not sure. Who should be moving forward as our backup quarterback? And, all that Russ has done in the league to Joe Milton giving this guy a shot, and there's definitely some pass interference going on in the end zone from Rico Payton. So they'll put the ball at the 1 yard line. Hopefully the Cowboys can get it in there. But let's see if we can evaluate Russ to see, if it makes sense to use him going forward, man. So I don't know if that's holding or if they're going to call that pass interference. I heard the call, but I wasn't listening to it. So hopefully that's pass interference and they put that at the, 4 yard line or something, 3 yard line. So there we go. 4 yard line, under center, Joe Milton, 2 wide receivers. This wide receiver is lined up. Play action there. Joe Milton keeping it. Joe Milton trying to get in the end zone, and he's going to be about a yard short probably. Yeah, he's going to be about a yard short. Danny Belton is the king of stopping guys at the 1 yard line. So let's see, Joe Milton. Joe Milton might have got in there, to be honest. Are the tracks coming off the Giants M1 Abrams trades? Yeah. Oh my gosh. We gotta find a way to lose this game. I don't know, man. Like I've never been in a situation where I've really been staring at the TV trying to figure out how we can lose a game. Like I've wanted to tank before, but for them to give us this feeling all season is nuts to me. Like the Giants, we had that win against the Eagles. Who did we beat first? We had the win against the Chargers. Then we lost the next week to... I forgot who we played the next week. But we lost that next week after the Chargers. Then we come out and blow the Eagles out of the stadium. And we're like, okay, we've arrived. And then all of a sudden, we blow a 30-point... We give up 30 points in the fourth quarter to the Broncos. And then we don't win again until we're trying to tank. Like, we literally don't win again the entire season until we're trying to tank. And it makes perfect sense, man, because it happens every single year. It happens every single year. So why should we be surprised? Should never be surprised about something like that. Yeah, didn't miss anything else. So again, like I said, like let's pass some stats here. The Bengals are just across midfield, so we can't have the Bengals coming back and beating the Browns. That would stink. That would stink for sure. But they are down right now 12-17. We need the Browns to hold on to that 17-12 lead. 5 minutes left in the game. The Bengals are driving and are getting close to being in the field goal range. So we'll see what goes on there. And then as far as the Falcons, they are now up 13-10 instead of 10-7. So if they can hold on and the Browns can hold on, then we could possibly be picking 5 instead of 7. Hand off there to Blue, and Blue's going to get in the end zone there. So there we go. There we go. And that's Maffa, not Blue. But either way, Dallas gets in the end zone, making it a 24-17 game. And we need something else crazy to happen for the Giants. Hopefully this pushing and shoving with Dexter Lawrence, hopefully they penalize us. Hopefully they penalize. The offensive lineman just did some dramatic stuff saying like, let's separate this guy. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah, hopefully they can come back and lose this game. Browns need to hang on. The Saints need to get it together. Yeah. Well, we need the Falcons to win. That's the funny thing. Yeah, we need the Falcons to win. It seems like the Commanders need the Saints to win. We need the Titans to win, but they're down 34-7, so that's not happening. We already got the Seahawks to win. But everybody else, Browns up, and Falcons up. So hopefully they both keep their leads. Now let me see what's going on specifically with the Bengals, if they got any closer to the red zone. And Aubrey's lined up to kick this, and it is right down the middle. So here we go. Joe Burrow just got sacked, and there we go. I think Myles Garrett just got the record right there. So Michael Strahan's record has officially been broken. If I'm not mistaken, he was 1 sack away. So Myles Garrett's record has Michael Strahan's record has officially been broken by Myles Garrett, as Joe Burrow just got sacked on a 2nd and 16. Or a 1st and 10. So yeah, it looks like that's the record right there. It looks like, I mean, it would have been so fitting for him to break the record and solidify our number 2 pick, but the Giants aren't helping us out that much, because I just can't see the Giants not scoring the rest of the game. But we'll see. Maybe we get another fluke play, another fumble, another interception. I don't know. The only reason where it's just so hard to buy into the tank completely in these situations, because I know if what we want to happen happens and Jackson Dart goes out there and has a bad interception or something and they return it for a touchdown, next year Giants fans are going to be like, well, he lost to Joe Milton. And they were rooting for it, but they're going to be like, this dude lost to Joe Milton. Let me see if I can get I want to just double check to see if that was the record for Myles Garrett. Because I'm pretty sure that was it. Should be 23. Yeah. 23 sacks here for Myles Garrett on the season. Just broke the record. Is it? Why are they not showing the total on it? This is they should have had this ready to go the second he got that sack. Yeah, 23 sacks. I'm not wrong. 23 sacks here for Myles Garrett. And there you go. Passes Michael Strahan and TJ Watt at 22 and a half. And let's see. And it was a legit sack. So you can't be too mad. You can't be too mad at him. Dude is a dog. He's on a horrible team. And with the team that's not even up a bunch of points every week, for him to get 23 sacks this season is amazing. So I'm not mad at all. I think Myles Garrett may be one of the only players I think is fitting, to say, like, this record should be broken. So Garrett definitely deserves that. But you said it ain't when you pick, it's how you pick. Yeah. And the thing is, if Joe Shane is making all these picks, who cares anyway? Yeah, it was a giveaway. Being honest with you, it was a giveaway. I think he still would have gotten the sack, but Brett Favre didn't fight him for it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, Brett Favre wasn't gonna. He didn't try to break the tackle or like throw it away at any cost, like how Aaron Rodgers was doing last week. He just said, like, the play's over. I'm just gonna get down. There we go. Tyrone Tracy picking up 6 on first down. 24-17 game, one possession game. Still anybody's game right here. Got to be on oh my God, Jackson Dart got 3 people hit Jackson Dart at once when he threw that last throw. Here we go. Jackson Dart with a ton of time, rolling around, making something happen, fading away. And Tyrone Tracy tried to go up to get that, and he got the flag. Like, the Giants aren't going to go away quietly. They're going to keep putting up points. They picked up the flag. Wow. Okay. So Jackson Dart was kind of scrambling away, rolling backwards, kind of underthrew it, but also had a safety over the top, so I understand why. And Tracy almost was able to go up and get down, come down with it, but just couldn't. I like how Tracy's being used these last couple of weeks as an actual receiver. Wish that would have happened early on in his career, but it is what it is there. And now we got a false start from the Giants on 3rd and 4. So making this a 3rd and 9. And you're a play ahead. Apparently Slayton's going to catch this ball on 3rd and 9. So the Browns still up 17-12. You got about 2:59 left, and they just got the ball back. Here we go. Jackson Dart letting it fly. And Darius Slayton catches it. And he's going to keep running. Oh, my God. Darius Slayton uncharacteristically catches it, stays on his feet, and runs into the end zone. Are they going to call it? They're going to say he pushed off. They're going to say Slayton pushed off to catch this. Wow. Slayton has got to be the sickest man in America. He's got to be the sickest man in America. So like they said, it takes a 72-yard touchdown off the board. Let's see if he pushed off there. Oh, he definitely pushed off. With 2 hands, he pushed off. So Shedeur Sanders on 3rd and 15 scrambled for 14 yards. And now the Browns will kick this off. They will punt this to the Bengals with 2:50 left to go. So the Giants here on third and forever, 3rd and 19, are going to try to convert. And this is the perfect time for the Cowboys to get back in the game. Come on, let's go. Giants, Dart letting it fly, and a flag. The Cowboys defender had no idea what he was doing and still held Hodgins, even though he had no shot at the ball. There was no way that he was going to make a play on that ball, and the Cowboys defender just runs right into Isaiah Hodgins. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. Like, you just run into the guy. So Cincinnati has the ball at their own 40, and they need a touchdown. They need a touchdown to win the game. They've got 2:40 left to go, and we'll see what happens there. Handoff to Tracy. He's getting the yard right across the 50. 13 minutes left in the game, so it's not like the game's completely sealed, but this is a crucial drive if we want to come out of this game with a loss, which is crazy for me to say because I'm sitting here trying to calculate how we could lose. 2nd and 9 coming up. Bellinger in motion. Dart throwing it short to Olszewski, who's going to be about 2 yards short of a first down, right around the 41-yard line. Wow. 3rd and 3 coming up. Record in one-score games, the Giants are 1-7. Okay. Jackson Dart in the gun. Gunnar Olszewski in motion again. I think Gunnar has to be close to 100. Got to be close to 100 at this point. Jackson Dart throwing it, picking up a first down. Darius Slayton. Dependable hands, apparently. Like, do they even have their defensive starters in? Like, come on, man. Is Quentin Williams in the game? Are all these guys in the game, or have they just pulled everybody out? Because I don't think Quentin Williams is in the game. Like, we have, okay, there's Illuminor's back in the game, but I thought we had James Hudson in there earlier. Okay, Quentin Williams is in the game. Okay. Here we go, back in the gun. Another handoff to Tracy. Tracy's trying to get upfield. He's going to spin. He's going to have 2 yards. That's going to make this a 2nd and 8 coming up. Oh my gosh. I just can't see us blowing this game at this point against this situation. 2nd and 8 coming up. Still in the gun. Just at the edge of field goal range. So we'd have to lose yards at this point. And Tracy right up the middle of the field, gashing the Cowboys defense inside the 15. 20-yard run from Tyrone Tracy right there. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow completes a pass to Drew Sample for 8 yards on 1st and 10. And they're right around the Cleveland 45, something like that. So, let's see. Back in the pistol, another handoff to Tracy. He's going nowhere. But even a field goal here pretty much ices this game. A field goal here pretty much ices this game. 24-17 game. You put up 27, Joe Milton is going to have to score, 10 points to tie the game? I just don't see it. But let's look at the rushing yards. Tyrone Tracy is at 15 carries, 84 yards rushing. Singletary's at 5 carries, 32 yards rushing. Dart's at 5 carries, 32 yards rushing. And Singletary's at 4 carries, 12 yards rushing. Jackson Dart pitching it to Gunnar Olszewski, who throws it short to Chris Manhertz. had him wide open for a touchdown, and Olszewski just left the ball short. And Olszewski's a guy that's thrown passes before accurately, but just couldn't make it connect, which I guess is good for us. Yeah, Olszewski did not have to throw that on the run. He could have set his feet and gotten it to Manhurst for how wide open he was. Yeah, Olszewski threw that touchdown pass to Jameis on the run early on in the season against the Lions. Here we go. Back in the gun. Another handoff to Tracy. Tracy's going to get 1.5 yards, maybe 2. And this will be a 4th down. And they'll kick a field goal, making this a 10-point game. If Ben Sauls can continue to be perfect. Oh, yeah, it definitely should have worked. Doesn't look like we're going to lose. And Ben Sauls continues to be perfect. 30-yarder. So let's check on what's going on with the Saints and the Falcons. The Falcons are up 16-10 now. So really need them to hold on. You got 9:40 left in the fourth quarter. The Browns are still up 17-12 on the Bengals. And they're at the 2-minute warning. And where is that Bengals offense right now? They just converted on a 3rd and 2. And they are at, the 30-something yard line. So the Bengals are driving to get that game-winning touchdown, which, of course, wouldn't be good for us. Wouldn't be good for us there. Yeah, he hasn't missed any field goals. Ben Sauls is come in, and he hasn't missed anything. And we could have used this guy a lot earlier. Could have used him a lot earlier in the games that meant something. Because right now we'd be at probably like 5 or 6 wins. Like, that's the thing. We'd be at least 5 or 6 wins, possibly more, if we had a reliable field goal kicker. Because a lot of times we didn't even attempt certain field goals because we knew we had no kicker on the roster. Kevontae Turpin can't bring this back to the 30. And this is wraps, folks. This is wraps. This is over. Let's see what else we got here. Looking back at this Bengals game, incomplete pass on 1st down from Joe Burrow. Again, we just need the Browns to hold on to this 17-12 lead. The Bengals are driving. 1:58 left to go. And on 1st down in the red zone, oh my God, Joe Milton threw the ball directly to Okereke. And that's going to do it. That's going to do it there with 9 minutes left, 10-point game. The Giants are probably going to put another touchdown on the board, and that'll be it. And Okereke, of course, a forced fumble today, an interception today, an interception last week. So here we go, 17-yarder to T. Higgins on 2nd down from the Bengals. So the Bengals are now here at the 25 of Cleveland. Bengals are now at the 25 of Cleveland with a fresh set of downs. Yeah, we're picking 6th in the draft, 7th or 5th, depending on what these two teams do. With the Bengals and the Browns. With the Browns holding on and the Falcons holding on, we'll pick 5th. So 1st and 10 again. Gunnar Olszewski in motion again. Jackson Dart handing this off to Tracy, who's trying to get to the edge, and he does, and he picks up the 1st down. And now Tracy's going to be about, 8 yards? He's at 98 yards on the game. So Tracy's about 2 yards away from 100. I mean, happy for him. He's gonna get 100 yards, but it is what it is, man. They said it's been 18. I forgot how many games they said. They said it's been a while since the Giants have had a 100-yard rusher. So Clowney with 3 sacks in in his last game of the season. Let's see what Illuminor did here. Yeah, Illuminor, that was not his fault there. Second and 14 coming up. Jackson Dart 19 for 28, 213, 2 touchdowns. Gunner in motion again. Another handoff to Singletary. Singletary running the guy over. Picks up about 8 yards on second and 14? Yeah, meaningless wins never carry on into the next season. I just haven't seen that. I can't stand the fact that the Cowboys are outsmarting us, giving us a win in a meaning. Yeah, I mean it's a meaningless win. It's a meaningless win. I mean, I just don't see this building any momentum going forward. I mean, maybe Jackson Dart can say he got a certain amount of wins his rookie season. He felt great at the end of the season, but at the end of the day, I don't think this changes things. I don't think this really changes much because if we have, a shootout with Dak Prescott, especially with that fumble from Tracy, it's probably a 27-20. It's probably a 24-24 ball game right now. And if we have that shootout with Dak Prescott and lose, I think Jackson Dart feels pretty good if it's like the game's like 30-something to 30-something. And, it just doesn't go in his favor. But in this situation against Joe Milton, I'm sure he's going to feel great that he won, but I don't think this is going to change the culture. And then we can't even pad stats because we're just handing the ball off over and over again. Play action, short throw to Tracy. Tracy picks it up. He's running the guy over, and he picks up the first down. So the Giants have a fresh set of downs. They are, 4 yards away from a touchdown? And they pulled Tracy out. I'm surprised they're not going to try to get him his 2 yards to get him 100 yards. So up by 10, the Giants are back inside the 10-yard line. One-on-one throw from Jackson Dart is out of bounds. Here we go. Bengals just scored. So the score is let's see. Bengals missed the 2-point conversion. So the score right now is 18-17. Bengals up on the Browns. And Shedeur Sanders in the last game of the season is going to need to go get his team in the field goal range. And hopefully that would be and they're trying to fight to let Singletary into the end zone, and they will. But the Bengals are going to have to the Browns are going to have to get in the field goal range, and they'll start at the 29-yard line to get in the field goal range to win this game, and that would push us at least to 6 while we're still waiting to see if the Falcons can hold on too. Patrick's got some good stuff going on, apparently. Meaningless wins that never carry on the next season. I'm not gonna highlight that other stuff, but yeah, man, it's a mess we're in. Definitely a mess. And Ben Sauls is gonna kick it right through the uprights. So yeah, They just continue to disappoint us. That always happens. That definitely always happens. Um, what a mess, man. We had one job. And how did we know that it just wasn't going to get done? Like we had one job. That's it. That's it. Just one job. Go out there, lose. You get the second overall pick. We had our fun last week. We blew the Raiders out. We'd have the second overall pick. Teams would be calling in. Either Moore or Mendoza would be there, and we'd be able to sell it to the highest bidder. But nope, they would not like that. Oh man. Said the Giants are playing inspired football, man. What? Yeah, Joe Milton, man, is a mess, man. Like I'm just so disappointed. Again, like this could have very well, like if they left Dak Prescott in the game, I really think this probably is a tight game. I think it's probably like 24-24, 27-24, something like that. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. If you're a Giants fan, is every time you need them to lose, they win. Every time you want them to win, they find a way to lose. They find ways. They pull defeat out of the clutches of victory. Like what a joke, man. So the Giants will kick this off. And again, at this point, I'm less interested in what happens in this game and more interested in what happens here to the Browns and Bengals. Uh, they got about 26 seconds left to go. And they are at the Cincinnati 38. And Cincinnati just took a timeout. Wow. The Browns have 2 timeouts. Shedeur Sanders got this team in the field goal range. Got a 9-yarder from Shedeur and then a 11-yarder from Shedeur to Jerry Jeudy. And then a timeout from Cincinnati. And I'm sure Cleveland is going to try to get a little bit closer. But they should be in position as Joe Milton makes Abdul Carter miss. But the Browns should be in position to kick the game-winning field goal. Whether they make it, who knows. But they should be in perfect position to kick the game-winning field goal and at the very least save the Giants from the 7th pick, and we'll be picking the 6th overall pick. So we'll see. I'm waiting to see what happens next. They're currently at the Cincinnati 38. Bengals just took a timeout. I'm sure they're probably on commercial break or something. But I will keep you all posted on what happens there because if the Browns kick this field goal and win this game, they will be picking 7th. I'm pretty sure. Or somewhere like that. Quick throw from Milton. Again, this game is over. They're not coming back from 17-point deficit with the Cowboys. That just not happening. Dylan Sampson rushes forward for 2 yards. So they're at the Cincinnati 36. Beautiful coverage by Debo right there. He's not challenged by these guys, all these scrub receivers. So Um, Cleveland just took their second time out, and I'm sure they're going to run it again probably here on 2nd and 8 at the Cincinnati 36. They're probably going to run this one more time and then kick a field goal to try to win the game. Abdul Carter just blew this play up. They ran it away from him, but he blew that play up for sure. Shedeur Sanders actually tried to throw a pass on 2nd and 8. And now I'm sure they'll have a shot to run this and kick the field goal. Because it's 2nd and 8, so that means it's 3rd and 8 now coming up. They're at the 36. So if I'm them, I'm running the football, putting it in a position for my kicker, and let's see if their kicker can bring it home. That'd be great. That would be absolutely great for us. 3rd and 10 here for Joe Milton. That ball floated. I mean, that basically threw that to Mutombo. And the Cowboys are punting down 17. Like, what a joke. Down 17, the Cowboys are punting. So on 3rd and 8, Dylan Sampson rushes for 5 yards. So now the Browns will be kicking this possible game-winning field goal from the 31-yard line. So the Browns will be kicking this from the 31-yard line. If they kick this again and they win, then we will not be picking number 7. So here we go. Gunnar Olszewski fields this and is across the 20. And Jackson Dart and the Giants will get this ball back. I'm sure they're going to hand this off to Tracy to try to get him over 100. So here we go. All the timeouts gone from Cleveland. All the timeouts gone from Cincinnati. So there will be no icing of the kicker. And there will be no do-over for the Browns if they screw this up. If they screw the field goal up. So 12 seconds left to go. They're going to line up to try to kick this field goal to win. And I'll let you know what happens. I'll let you know what happens because I'm looking at the game cast. So I'll see the result of it pretty soon. Oh, yeah, Dak and CD are definitely laughing at us. Handoff again to Tracy. And there's 100 yards. So there you go. Got your 100 yards there, Tyrone Tracy. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so that's it. The Browns have kicked the game-winning field goal, and we will not be picking 7th. We'll be picking 6th. So the Browns at least did their job. The Browns did their job. Browns did their job, so we're picking at worst 6 now instead of 7th. And the Falcons, and Singletary's going to go nowhere there on that pitch. So now the next thing we're watching is the Falcons. The Falcons have the ball. They are in the red zone. It's 2 minutes left to go. And they just went up. I think they just kicked the field goal. Yeah, they just kicked the field goal, so that makes it a 9-point game. So it looks like the Falcons can hold on to this 9-point lead with 3 minutes left to go. Then we should be picking 5th. So 3rd and 6 here. Short throw to Olszewski. He's going to make a guy miss almost and picks up a first down. So it looks like the Giants will probably be picking 5th from what I'm seeing so far. I forgot who else is on that graphic. I know the Commanders were there. The Raiders were there. But with the Giants win, I got to pull up that graphic again. And I'll pull it up probably post-game. After I make my post-game video, I'm probably going to pull that up. Singletary up the middle. And there's a holding call. And I figure I probably can just make my post-game now because the game's over. I mean, at this point, they're just running the clock out. And I think I'll do that. think I'll probably do that. So I'll make my post game. The game will keep running, and then we'll sit here for a little while, and we'll take it from there. What's going on, YouTube? Diggy546. It is what it is here. It is what it is. They had one job. The Giants had one job, and that job was to make sure. The job was to make sure. The job. I'm so frustrated. The job was just to make sure that you lose to the team that you lose to all the time. You lose to the Cowboys all the time. You lose to the Cowboys waking up. You lose to the Cowboys going to sleep. Every single way that you can find a way to lose to the Cowboys, you find a way to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. Every single time. What's the guy's name? Aubrey? This guy, Brandon Aubrey, can kick a 70-yarder against us while time is expiring to go into overtime. But this dude's missing a 57-yarder today. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Our kicker can't miss. Dude can't miss. Shout out to Ben Sauls, and I'm not even that mad about that. But shout out to Ben Sauls. He hasn't missed any field goals. Hasn't kicked anything over 50. But at the same time, I'm glad he hasn't missed anything. So shout out to Ben Sauls. Other than that, I mean, I'm just so disappointed. We could have had the second overall pick. Could have left away with that second overall pick. And now it's looking like we're going to be picking. Luckily, the Browns covered. They helped us out. And they just won 20-18 over the Bengals. So we'll be picking at least 6. Right now I'm looking at the Falcons and the Saints. And the Falcons have a 9-point lead on the Saints with 2 minutes left to go. If the Falcons can hold on, we'll be picking 5th. So with those two teams doing what they do, we'll probably be picking 5th overall. Looking at the Commanders, if they come out with a win today, we'll be picking 4th. If the Jets win and the Commanders win, we're picking 3rd. But we need one of these two teams in the second slot to win, the Commanders or the Jets, and that will put us at around 3rd or 4th. If either one of those teams wins. So it's not going to be as bad as having to pick 7th. It's looking like we're going to be picking somewhere around 5th. But it's just so frustrating that every single year we need to lose. Every single year we got Drake May and Jaden Daniels sitting on the table. We come out and win the game. Even going back to the Chase Young Bowl, it worked out for us because Andrew Thomas ended up being good. But we go out and win that game. Then, again, Jaden Daniels is on the board. Drake May is on the board. Tommy DeVito comes out like this. And we win the games. We come out. Drew Lock is putting up 5 touchdowns with like 5 incompletions against the Colts. And he looks like literally look how good that Colts defense looks right now. Well, Drew Lock carved that defense up last year. He carved that defense up. 5 touchdowns last year for Drew Lock. 4 through the air, 1 on the ground. And it just happens again. Last week, if we lose last week, we clinched the number 1 overall pick. That's what happens if we lost last week. That wasn't going to happen because the Raiders stink. And, I mean, that's fine. You know, it is what it is. But this week, this was a game that, at the very least, they were going to bench Dak. But at the very least, after the first half, there's 10 points on the board from the Cowboys offense. That's with Dak Prescott. That's with us giving up almost 100 yards rushing in the first half. That's with CeeDee Lamb. That's with George Pickens. So all of these players out there, all of a sudden the Giants defense just knows how to shut all these guys down. All of a sudden, there's no answer for the Giants defense against this offense that's run through the entire league. So, you know, it is what it is there. They ended up putting in Joe Milton. And once that happened, I said the game's over. Tracy came out there and fumbled, but it wasn't enough. And there's about, I guess, I'm looking at this game, 125 left to go. Giants are at 3rd and 21. Complete garbage time. Shout out to Jackson Dart. Couple of nice plays today. Had a nice throw to Darius Slate, and they called back because Slate pushed off, but still a nice throw. At the end of the day, man, I'm not really that pleased, because we could have had the second overall pick. We could have traded out of it, gotten to the 7th pick or to the 5th pick or 6th pick, and had 2 players. Could have gotten a guy in the first round in the top 10, a guy in the 20s. Could have gotten another first round pick next year, but it is what it is, man. And if Joe Shane is going to be making the pick, if Joe Shane is making the pick, then who cares? We probably would have wasted it anyway. Being honest, we probably would have messed the pick up anyway if Joe Shane is the one making the pick, because it seems like this guy's just attached to us at the hip, and I'm sure he's whispering sweet nothings in our ownership and front office's ear, saying like, look how strong we finished the season. Imagine if we had added Malik Neighbors to that. Imagine if we added Cam Scatterbull. Imagine if you give me a new draft class and a free agency. I know he's whispering sweet nothings in these people's ears, and they're just eating it up. I just know they're just eating it up. They're just eating Joe Shane up. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, because this dude can do no wrong. He can do no wrong in the Giants front office's eyes and ownership's eyes. And for some reason, they saw that they should fire the head coach and let Joe Shane lead the head coaching search. And he's the GM no matter what. Joe Shane is going to be here for 10 years no matter what. He's going to be here for 10 years no matter what. He's already been here for 4. All he's done is stunk up the place. He's going to be here for another 6 years, and he's going to continue to sabotage the team because he's just made friends and gotten in good with the right people. That's really what it is. He knows the right people like him, and he's going to continue to exploit that, and that's what we all would do. That's what we all would do. But, Joe Shane is going to stay here and probably would have messed up these picks anyway. So that makes him feel a bit better. Man. The Cowboys really benched Dak Prescott. Like, really? Really? You benched Dak Prescott? Oh, I wanted to get a look at Joe Milton. I know that. But if you want to get a look at Joe Milton, why not leave CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in the game? Why not leave them in the game? I mean, every single time, I'm going to reference the tweet again. Every single time the Giants need to lose, they put up 30. Every single time, like clockwork, they put up 30. And this is a team that, besides this year, because they had a pretty good offensive season, but besides this year, this is a team that never puts up 30. But if they need to lose, they're putting up 30. They're putting up 30. So let's just go over these stats here from this game really quickly. Jackson Dart, 22 for 32, 231, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 4 times, 3 sacks by J.D. Clowney. That's how you know it's an absolute joke of a game. Tyrone Tracy, 18 carries, 103 yards. Dart, 32 yards rushing. Singletary, 25 yards rushing. Gunnar Olszewski goes over 100 yards today, which is hilarious. Shout out to the Giants Nation show. Bobby Skinner over there made a bet with the fan base that Gunnar Olszewski wouldn't get 100 yards on the season, and he got 100 yards today. So he's having to pay something. I don't know what he is, but he's paying something. Some nice throws again from Dart today, especially that Tyrone Tracy throw, the Slayton throw down the field on the left side, even though that got called back. The kind of backhand pitch from what's the guy? Backhand pitch to Bellinger, a nice throw, nice move. So Dart continues to look pretty good to me. We're not going to be picking second, but it seems like we'll at least get the chance to pick 5th and not 6th. Or 7th. And right now they're showing the bonus coverage of the Saints and Falcons game. And this is so you all will see my reaction. You all will see my reaction. So this will decide whether the Saints and the Falcons game will decide whether we pick 6th or 5th. So right now, if the Falcons recover, which they do, Falcons recover, and that'll ice it. So the Falcons will hold on to this win, and the Giants will be picking 5th for now, pending what happens in this Raiders game, this Commanders game, and this Jets game. Depending on what happens there, we're picking 5th for now, and that could possibly move up. I think the Cardinals are in it too. Looking at records, the Cardinals are 3-13. So if the Cardinals can beat the Rams, and I don't know if the Rams are playing for anything, but if the Cardinals can beat the Rams, that's another team too. So that's it for now. Thank you to the Falcons and thank you to the Browns for helping us out because we're at least picking fifth. But just more of the same. It's just more of the same. So who cares? All right. So post game video done. Let's see what I see. What I see here in the chat. Twilight Zone. Yeah, it's a complete joke, man. Complete joke. Complete joke, man. Like it's a joke. It's like what else would you expect? What else would you expect, man? Tyrone Tracy, and it's crazy that Tracy didn't have a single 100-yard game last year. He has some pretty good games last year. So yeah, right now the Giants are sitting at fifth, and let's pull up this this graphic again. Let me see if I can. See if I can pull up this graphic and we can figure out what things are looking like. So back to Doug Analytics. Back to that graphic he shared. We'll walk through this graphic. And he's updated it since the game has been over, so this will be easier to read here. So let's share this screen. Okay, so shout out to Doug Analytics again on Twitter. And he's already shown that there's a win here, loss here. I guess this didn't matter. I was talking about Atlanta and New Orleans, but that didn't matter. So never mind. I'm crazy. Neither one of those teams were above us, so that doesn't matter. So right now we're picking six. We got Arizona against the Rams. We got the Jets against the Bills, and we got the Commanders against the Eagles. So if the Commanders, Jets, or Cardinals can come out with a win today, then we'll be at least at pick number 5. But it looks like we're sitting at pick number 6 again. And I'm pretty sure we picked 6 with Daniel Jones. We picked 6 with Malik Neighbors. We like that pick a lot. And we can never pick 1. We got 2 one year, but we can never get 1. And we've deserved 1 a couple times. So this is what we're looking at. As far as the tank goes, because the tank is over for us. If we can get any of these 3 teams to win here on the right side, then it could possibly push us up. So unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. So with a clean sweep from the Cardinals, Jets, and Washington, we'll be picking 3, but I highly doubt it. So I wonder who locked in that 3rd overall pick. I think it's that 2nd overall. I think it's the Titans. So let's see. Maybe it's true. We are close and have some of the pieces. Yeah, that's what Joe Shane says. We're close. But, we'll see how close we are in the next 3 years when we probably don't make the playoffs in all 3 years. So, yeah, I see the chat is slowing down a little bit. I'm probably going to dip out, get this video updated. And we're in the off season, so I got a lot of fun content planned. Of course, we're going to be covering the draft. Sometimes my brain gets ahead of me speaking. But we're going to be covering the draft. I'm going to the Senior Bowl here at the end of the month. So I'm excited about that. Excited to bring you all some coverage there. And then I just have like some Giants offseason stuff planned that should be fun because apparently the offseason is better and more fun than the actual season, which is a shame. So appreciate you all for sticking with me this entire season. This has been yet another miserable season. The Giants win. 1 more game than last year. Finished with 4 wins. But, again, not the best situation. So hopefully one of these teams will win. And we'll be picking 5 at least instead of 6. I just really want the Commanders to win. Because if the Commanders can leave out with a win and we have a shot at Caleb Downs, I'll feel pretty good. But I doubt it. We'll probably be picking 6. So it is what it is. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And like I said, we'll have some off-season stuff coming and some season review stuff coming.